Support black business because I am black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am black business.
I am black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am black business. I am black business. Are you black business? I am black business. Do you support black businesses? I support black business because I am black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina.
Join Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am black business. I am black business. Tell me, are you black business? I am black business. Do you support black businesses? Listen, I support black business because I am black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of black business in the world.
You are in the right place at the right time. The Black Business Network opens again for its Black Business Olympics, a 24/7 broadcast on business, strategies, global branding, social media marketing, finance, advertisement, and much, much more. Featuring the top, most powerful entrepreneurs and speakers and thought leaders from all around the world as they gather together for this phenomenal event. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the metaverse. STEM City, USA, Black Multiverse, Pod TV, Roku, Hulu, iHeartRadio, Apple TV, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Google Podcasts, Facebook, LinkedIn, IBM TV, Spotify, and Twitch. Tune in today and be a part of this amazing movement. The Black Business Olympics welcomes you. How many times have you been asked to help someone you didn't even know, a student, a business entrepreneur, or did you ever even ask, where did they end up? That business, that friend, that entrepreneur. Well, just maybe they ended up in a gang, bankrupt, homeless, or worse, dead. Maybe they turned to crime, drugs, and alcohol. Did you ever wonder, Did you destroy their dream, or was your life always so easy? At the Black Business Olympics, we started a movement to help students complete. Give them hope and foster success. Help them to leave their dreams of providing laptops, computers, and up to $5,000 in scholarship funds. Today, we ask you to help a student, a business owner, or an entrepreneur to realize their dream by sponsoring them, supporting them, and buying from them. Consider this. With $1.6 trillion in our Black community, we only ask for a small donation for our students, our businesses, and our entrepreneurs. And you can change a life today. So I ask you, what are you going to do? Sit on the sideline and watch our students in high school be leaders, miss out on their dream from lack of resources? Or are you going to donate to the movement and change their future and yours as well? Give us a call today at 919-308-9090. Change their life by investing with action to the Black Business Olympic Fund. The Black Business Olympics, one of the largest business showcases of Black business in the history of the world. Prepare for what's coming and dominate in economic winter. Stand strong and thrive by showcasing your great products and services globally through the Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics. The Black Business Network has showcased over 2,000 companies with over $7 billion in sales each year. Over 10 million attendees have viewed the rebroadcast each month. Through the Black Business Olympics, unique styles of business training and mentoring are turning students into business owners and entrepreneurial warriors who will dominate in any economy. Gain the ultimate advantage of the Black Business Olympics, 7 days of unbelievable topics and speakers speaking around the globe. Donate your time and experience to provide expertise and scholarships to students worldwide and change the world. Now, more than ever, new insights, tools, strategies, and capabilities are needed. This is your chance for a major presentation to the world. Fill out the form and join the more than 2,000 speakers who have presented to over 200 countries. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the Metaverse, STEM City, Black Multiverse Enterprises, Hulu, Amazon, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pod TV, IBM TV, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Sign up today. Spaces are limited, and we will see you there.
The Black Business Expo is changing my life. This year, they are giving away laptops and even $5,000 in cash to students just like me. I'm Alexis, and I want to go to college to fulfill my dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Help the Black Business Expo going to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com and also becoming a vendor, a sponsor, or donating.
The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. Please, you may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the Cash App at @BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts. Please donate to the Black Business Expo USA Scholarship Fund.
Did you know that approximately 333.34 million businesses exist today, according to a report from 2021? And you may be one of those businesses, or maybe you're not in the business market yet, but you're aspiring to be a business owner. Well, guess what? You're in the right place at the right time. Because let's face it, everything is about timing and opportunity. Hi, my name is Dr. Lotus Richey, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Lotus Richey Coaching and Consulting LLC, along with the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. 15 minutes of success with Dr. Lotus Richey, as well as books to boom your business and bring who you are. And today, I want to bring this amazing message to you about the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics. See, the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics is designed to help people just like you, that's right, that look like me, to take their business to the next level. Not just in your front yard or your backyard, but globally. The Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics is designed not to just help you survive, but to help you thrive. So join us today as we come together with businesses all around the world to support our students, our children, our young teens, our young entrepreneurs. What we do is we come together to help raise funds for students who are aspiring to be business entrepreneurs, who are aspiring and who are thriving in college. We endow them with a wonderful opportunity to gain scholarship of either a laptop or several thousands of dollars. And we invite you to help be a contributor to this amazing opportunity to help someone that looks just like you. So join us today at our website and let us connect with you and help you ignite and take flight in every area of your life on the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics. I'll see you on the other side.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
This is Dr. Arnold T. Petsworth. He's the owner of Petsworth Vet World, a veterinary clinic in Hopton, Connecticut. His patients include dog, cat, frog, fish,
Goldie,
dog, and this alpaca. Due to doctor-patient confidentiality, we can't tell you their names. Business at Vet World was steady, and then quarantine hit. Neighbors brought new four-legged friends into their homes. Bunnies. Bunnies everywhere. Dr. Petsworth welcomed these new patients with open arms. The only problem? There were more appointments than he could manage. That's when Dr. Petsworth turned to his American Express business card, which offers spending potential that's built for his changing business needs. He decided to hire a new assistant, Julio, and with spending power built for business purchases, he used his card to furnish a new exam room. Together, Dr. Petsworth, Julio, and American Express Business made sure all the pets of Hopton got the love and care they deserve. And everyone was happy. Get the card built for business by American Express.
I was born in a little village on the island of Haiti. Many deadly diseases pounded me. It is as if they were on a mission to end my existence on this earth. I refused to give up. In 1983, I left Haiti and came to the United States of America. And I came with $5, 2 shirts. I didn't speak in English. I came to Atlanta. I got a job. I was a doorman. I was a doorman with a dream. What I used to come on stage. I'd rehearse this moment that I'm standing in front of you. That's the power of a dream. Maybe today is the day you begin acting as if you already have it. And then step out with full force. Take a risk. No condition is permanent. Don't let your situation distract you. You are chosen. You are called. You are born for a purpose in this life.
Hey guys, my name is Caden. I'm the CEO of Caden Teaches, and my genius is teaching kids about financial literacy. Throughout my financial products, such as my financial flashcards, my activity book, and my newest project, my financial bus, which I bought. And on the bus, it has a mock bank where kids will learn how to deposit and withdraw money, a mock grocery store where kids will be able to learn how to have a family budget, and a mock stock exchange where kids will even be able to learn how to invest in stocks. Now, I decided to start teaching kids about financial literacy because I find that most kids graduate high school without even knowing the basics about financial literacy. And I feel if I were to teach kids about financial literacy, that I would be able to help kids tap into their genius. And I actually learned about financial literacy to my dad because I would go to business meetings with him, and I would always see that they were talking about financial literacy. And at that point, I didn't understand what financial literacy was. So I took it upon myself to learn about financial literacy and teach it to kids in a way that they could understand. But I want you guys to help me help kids tap into their genius by going to my website, cadenteaches.com, and you can sew into me in my financial bus by going to my GoFundMe link. And remember, if Caden can, you can too. Because genius is common.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
Good morning, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Sidney Wormsby. I am the founder and CEO of Strategic Solutions and Uertis e Decus. Uertis e Decus means excellence and distinction in Latin. And we are a business growth and improvement firm that helps small and mid-sized businesses grow their revenues and profits. I'm your business moderator for this morning on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, from London, from Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, to inspire, to educate businesses about business. This morning, we have an exciting lineup for you, being kicked off by Miss Shelley Jeffcoat, more fondly known as Mrs. Pie. She is an employer brand and employee value proposition leader. She's a CEO and founder of LCM Group, an award-winning culture builder, an advocate for teen women and veterans. She's a mentor, an author, and has her own podcast, A Slice of Pie with Mrs. Pie. Ms. Jeffcoat is an executive industry leader and CEO, as I said before, of LCM Group, with over 30 years of experience in multiple functions. She has achieved remarkable success as an employer brand leader, including winning 19, I'll repeat that, winning 19 employee culture awards through 2021 through 2023. She's an influencer behind Mrs. Pie and a key figure in the Parade Deck military influencer community of over 6.5 million subscribers. Her company, LCM Group, delivers global brand workshops, and Shelley is sought after keynote speaker on purpose, branding, and entrepreneurship. I present to you Miss Shelley Jeffcoat.
Wow, thank you for that. Good morning.
Oh, thank you for participating with us and sharing all of your knowledge and experience with the audience that's out there. So I know you have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of information that you want to share. I'm going to get out of your way, let you do your thing. And remember, genius is common. I'll see you on the other side.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That was the best welcome I've had. And just thinking about all of the information that's already been shared, I just want to make sure that I shout out to everybody who's not yet subscribed to watch some of these replays. Just as a lot of information that's already been shared by previous speakers. And obviously, I'm honored to be here. So today is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to be talking about branding from a small to medium business perspective. And essentially what I want to do is I want to share some information that's going to help a lot of entrepreneurs and maybe small business owners, maybe mid-sized businesses really think about branding from a business strategy perspective. And hopefully I'll be able to take some questions at the end of our presentation. But I just like to start off with like why branding is so important. And branding, you know, I always say that this is more than just creating a logo and a compelling tagline. It really defines who you are as a company. It helps to communicate your values and your mission. And it really sets the expectations for your clients, your customers, and even future employees. So branding from the sense of building trust with your customers, and that will ultimately help you grow profits as part of the considerations for your business strategy. So in the introduction, you've heard that I have a large amount of experience within this space, but there's some things that I want to really touch on and hone in on today in terms of what we're going to cover. this branding versus marketing can be quite confusing. So I want to start with just really clearly defining what is a brand. I'm going to talk a little bit about brand identity and equity. I'm going to touch a little bit on the social media approach strategically, and then how do you marry purpose and culture as a brand strategy. And again, if we have time, then I'll be able to take some questions from the audience. And also, you can reach me at learncoachmodelgroup.com. So just really simply, a brand it's basically considered an intangible marketing or concept that allows people or helps your clients, your potential clients, and even your competitors to identify your company, the product, or the individual. And there's 3 different types of branding. So the first one most of us are familiar with, especially if you're in the LinkedIn community, is personal brand, where you talk about the values and what you bring to the table, how you serve yourself up and how people come to know you. That's personal brand. Employer brand is essentially an organization and the way it identifies itself, how it communicates to candidates and also to employees about, their approach as an employer. And then a business brand is what a lot of us are very familiar with, where we talk about the mission and the company, the service it provides. But the brand is, honestly, the most important and valuable asset that a company can have. So some examples of brands, some of the top most recognizable brands includes Apple. So if I say these brands, immediately you'd have an image that comes to mind, or tagline that comes to mind. So recognizable brands like Apple and Google and Amazon and Microsoft, for example, immediately they have the brand equity that helps you understand what is the value of that brand, what's the service that they offer. So as you're thinking as an entrepreneur about how you're building a strategy around your brand, it's really important to start with the values that you're providing and, what do you want your clients to come to know you for? And then you shift to what a lot of people do is, they build out a website and then they're trying to figure out how they become known and how do people find you. You actually have to start backwards and really identify what are the core values that your company offers. What do you want to be known for as that business? Again, whether you're an entrepreneur, small, medium, or a large company. And then you start looking at all of the digital spaces. So 3 places where you'd consider using your brand. The first one is kind of obvious, is mainly as a differentiator. So when a company or business needs to set themselves apart from others who provide, basically similar services in the marketplace, you need to have a brand that's established and it needs to be consistent in the messaging. So take, for example, you have, 2 hair salons on the same street or in the same business park. You need to be able to differentiate yourself between company A and company B. So having a really strong brand strategy will help you do that. The second thing is really around sales. So, how you introduce new products and services. So just think about when Apple rolls out a new phone, when another iPhone comes up, the company doesn't have to roll out something that says, we are offering X and reintroducing the company behind it. They just throw out, iPhone, the number, and, we're all rushing to the store. And the reason that is because they've established a brand and they understand that the consumers are going to stay loyal to those brands because we know them and we trust them. So that's another reason why, you need to think about your brand strategy around sales. The third area is actually around reputation management. And so branding helps you show your potential customers and even maybe future investors, for those of you all who are just starting out, it helps you show that you're an established and a credible business. And if you think about the way that you respond to, maybe service that went wrong or, poor feedback from your customers, how you're responding back to your clients, whether you have one client or thousands, it's really important. But if you're not managing your credibility and your reputation, that could actually impact your brand. And so that's why you have to think about what your process and what are some of the methods you're going to put in place to support that brand. So those are, when to use your brand. The first thing, as I said, is to differentiate yourself within the marketplace. The second area is really helping you from a sales perspective, how you introduce your new products and your services. And then the third place is around reputation. And notice I haven't said anything about logos or colors or the digital media space, because that comes later. You need to build the foundation for your brand strategy first before you start spending money on putting out beautiful ads. Okay. So brand identity, so this now is where you're thinking about how you communicate, your actual brand. So when we talk about brand identity, we're talking now about what a lot of people are very familiar with. So the first one is taglines. So taglines essentially are slogans that tell people who you are and what you stand for in very few succinct words. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're just getting started, thinking about these taglines, it has to align back to who you are, what you stand for in few words, right? The second thing is what we call unique selling points or USPs. And these are the specific benefits that are going to make your business stand out when you're comparing yourself to other businesses in the market. So what is your unique selling point? What makes you stand out? The third part of a brand identity are, again, what a lot of people are very familiar with, choosing a logo, but even understanding the colors that you use for a logo. And at this point, I would say if this is not your strong area, if creating logos and understanding the psychology of colors, if this is not your thing, this is where you definitely want to reach out to a business that is specializing in digital media strategy, because you really need to make sure that you're aligning all of these things: your tagline, your company name, your unique selling points, what mediums that you use, all those things to establish your brand identity. The fourth thing is around defining yourself. So when you I tend to go to a business's website when I do business consults, and first thing I'm looking at, I want to see what they say about themselves and how much language they use. But immediately I want to know who you are, what you sell, and how do I reach you? So if you're creating a brand identity and you're using, for example, social media or LinkedIn or a website, whatever that is, right? Are you actually, giving the information that your clients need, or are you creating a story that you want to tell? It's very different. So creating that brand identity is really important. So again, on your site, who you are, what you're selling, how do I reach you? Those are the three things that people want to know. The rest of the storytelling, thinking about how do you identify yourself and how do you tie it back to your brand, you can do that in different ways. So don't overwhelm your website with too much information. And then the last thing is if you're entering into entrepreneurship or a small business owner, it's just a reminder that, make sure that you're following all of the legalese and all the guidelines, because this is something that can come back to bite you. So for example, there are a lot of people who have great ideas, but they don't, complete the process to position themselves for an LLC or a sole proprietorship, or even establishing themselves as a corporation. That will tank your brand. So just make sure that you're actually doing the work behind establishing yourself legally as well. And that, again, that is a part of your brand identity. So just to repeat those areas: brand identity, it's around your taglines, what makes you unique, the digital media space, so the logos and the color psychology, being very prescriptive about the information you're putting on your website, doing it from your client's perspective, not just you telling a story. And then just remember that you really need to, follow the legalese, right? And make sure that you have, whether, again, your LLC or sole proprietorship or corporation, make sure that you have all of those things buttoned up and covered. Okay, so that is kind of, I think that's going to kind of help you out. So as I was thinking about taglines, I want to share a few that, just to give you some ideas of what a tagline is. And again, for those of you who are maybe new to this area, tagline, for example, Apple uses Think Different. These are my favorite. Nike is Just Do It. McDonald's is I'm Loving It. KFC is Finger Looking Good. Don't judge me. I love KFC. And Coca-Cola, Open Happiness. And I know these on memory because that's another thing that taglines do. It is, again, a short, succinct statement that tells people more about what the company has to offer. These are the business taglines. So as you're thinking about how do you want to communicate, and a lot of times when you show your tagline, it's also associated with your logo as well. So that's the storytelling part of the brand identity. So I just wanted to share that with you because I thought, you'd probably find some value in understanding how and what that looks like. So now I'm going to shift a little bit to equity. So equity, when it comes from a brand perspective, this is really simple. It's what value you generate from your product or your service when it's compared to something that's available to you in the marketplace. So the equity that comes out of your name. So you remember I talked at the top about, when Apple is rolling out a new phone, Apple doesn't have to reintroduce itself as Apple. It just has to introduce the product, right? And that is because there is equity behind the name. So for example, even for myself, if I'm launching a new podcast series, I don't have to come out and reintroduce myself as Mrs. Pie because the brand I own, Pie, is already established. So now I'm really banking on the equity that comes from the name. And the way that you're able to bank on that equity are in various ways and being very consistent and clear in the messaging. When we talk about brand equity, this is where a lot of businesses kind of miss the opportunity. And you have to really think about the components that are tied to that. So brand equity, it really is when you're thinking about how you break that out in a business strategy, it's the consumer perception. So what do consumers believe your brand represent, right? So as I'm thinking about Mrs. Pie, for example, part of my strategy and the way that I communicate, the way that we do podcasts, the way that we do business consulting, all those things, the way that we present our company, right? The way that we present our products and services, it is tied to the consumer perception. So I want consumers to believe that my brand does X. So building on that. So if you're a business that you've just launched, maybe you've just launched a new consulting firm, and you're selling financial literacy tools. So what is the perception that you want? What do you want your consumers to believe that your brand is going to represent? If you're selling financial literacy tools, it's going to be around credibility, or you want to be known as trustworthy, or things like that. So thinking about those components. Something else around brand equity, it's the positive and the negative effects. So remember I talked about reputation and reputation management. So as you're launching it, so again, this could even be a barbershop that you're opening and the reputation that's aligned to that barbershop. So if I'm barbershop A and I'm Bob, and barbershop B is Roxanne, right? I want to make sure that the reputation management is in place and I can respond to that. So I can bank on people loved it. People love to, come to Bob because Bob has a great reputation. People don't like going to Roxanne's because, she has a terrible reputation for client services. So things like that are baked into the brand equity model. And if customers have a positive association with your brand and they use it regularly over your competitor, so Bob over Roxanne, this is going to really bring a positive effect on your business in terms of sales. So think about, again, Coke versus Pepsi and Bob versus, the other, Roxanne. So those are things that you need to think about from an equity perspective and how that really putting the thought and the time into building out the brand. Again, who you are, what you have to offer, and then being clear in the way that you communicate that to your potential clients, potential investors, and all that. That's why it's really important. Okay, so I'm going to shift now to really quickly touching on some of the marketing basics, because this is where a lot of folks also get branding confused with marketing. So branding essentially describes your company. Like I talked about being very clear and consistent in the message. It does create an emotional attachment because you're trying to drive some kind of customer loyalty. You're building, again, when I talk to businesses about social media strategies, it's not focusing on building the number of followers. You need to be able to convert those followers into customers. So focusing on driving recognition of your brand and also that customer loyalty base. Very different. Marketing is really just amplifying your company message in a lot of different ways. It does vary. It creates needs, but at the end of the day, marketing strategies are all about driving sales, building your sales funnel. So that's the difference. And then furthermore, as I was thinking about, building, a lot of folks, they join or they become entrepreneurs because they're following a sense, I call it a sense of purpose. But that purpose also has to be translated. A vision has to be translated to your customers, has to be translated into an actual strategy. So this is where you'd want to think about, how you position yourself. Again, what is it that you're looking to offer? Being very clear about how you're different from your competitors. And purpose shows up in a lot of different ways, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to execute. Do you understand the priority and the perspective of your clients? Are you presenting a value to those particular clients? Purpose also shows up in other ways where how are you serving out the community? So if you think about this expo as an example of a business that's operating alongside purpose. So we started out, you've seen a lot of the ads and, watching all of the opening credits, and you've seen a lot of amazing businesses prior to me coming on. And that part of what we're attempting to do here is to raise money for scholarships. Well, that's a clearly defined purpose at work. So if you're someone who's, I'm starting this business and I feel like this is my purpose, you can actually use that purpose as a part of your strategy, as a part of your brand strategy. But again, you have to make sure that you understand the priority and the perspective of your potential clients. You got to make sure that you're very clear about what that purpose is, and then you're presenting an actual value. You're not just presenting purpose. So those are the key things that I really wanted to share. As I started out, and again, I just want to make sure that I leave this with you, that your brand is your most valuable asset as a company. Again, as I started out, it's more than a logo and a tagline. It's more than choosing beautiful colors. It's something that you're thinking about as you're building the business. And if you're at a point in your business where you need to pivot and adjust, it's okay to do that. Brands adjust all the time. Hello, Twitter versus X. So brands adjust all the time. So you need to be able to make that move or be flexible when you need to in terms of responding to what your market needs determine. Your brand defines who you are as a company. It should clearly communicate your values and your mission. It should set the expectations for your customers and maybe future employees if that's where you're going, and also building trust with your customers and growing profits, right? Because we are in the business as a business to make money, right? So those are the considerations that I wanted to share, and I'm going to pause to see if there are any questions that might have come into the room by any chance. All right, I'm just scanning to make sure I'm not missing any questions. All right, so there's a few more areas while I have you that I wanted to touch on, and this is around social media strategy, because this is another thing that I get a lot of questions around. Now, I mentioned that I have a show called Mrs. Pie, Slice of Pie with Mrs. Pie, but this is an example of how I've been able to build in a podcast into a business strategy. Okay. So let me just give you some of the tips and why it's been working so well. And I think maybe this is going to help. Maybe this will help you as well. So Pie is a brand that I own, proud, inspired, empowered. Okay. And so one of the things that we wanted to do with LCM Group is create a way for us to have an open dialogue and communication with the community. So we have shows that go live on Tuesdays where we interview business owners, and we have shows that are live on Thursdays for a totally different audience. But the idea was taking the brand of Pie and really, communicating it and then integrating it into every other area of our business. The foundation of our business is Pie. So if you're talking to us about brand consulting, ties at the foundation. If you're talking to us about podcasting, whatever, it's the same thing. So what we did with the Mrs. Pie podcast and the way that became a part of our business strategy is we understand that the way that we reach our target audience is you got to be out front. Okay. So we started building out these podcasts as a way to reach different business owners. It's given us an opportunity to show our value and show what makes us different, our differentiator as a brand. And then it is a remarkable experience because what's happened is we've successfully been able to take a personal brand and build it into a business brand and vice versa. So a question that I ask businesses that are thinking about social media strategies and how they're going to execute that. I always ask people this question: what is the Kardashian brand? And they'll struggle trying to come up with the name of a product that they sell. And I'll say, no, the Kardashian brand is the Kardashian. It's their name, but they built lines of businesses on top of that. So there are businesses that have multiple streams or have multiple funnels. Or they're even setting up if you're a small or medium business or medium and large organization, they have different business lines of business or business units. So just thinking about how you consolidate that to tell a consistent story. So podcasting for us has worked very well. Again, like I said, it's been a great way for us to expand the brand and get more brand awareness and really show value to the community, giving back to the community. So there's a lot of philanthropic work that we've been able to do. We're reaching thousands of people every week. We have, both the video podcast and also the audio podcast. And again, this is all a part of a strategy built into the business on how we are able to communicate, what it is that we do and how we work with the business. And so what I wanted to encourage you, if you are considering or you're thinking about maybe going into podcasts, just being very clear about what it is that you want to achieve. So for example, if you're a business and you're selling, and I'm just using financial literacy because it's top of mind right now, but if that's the tool, the product that you're selling and you're thinking, I want to start a podcast, always ask yourself why. Why are you doing this? And how? What's the ROI? What's the return on investment? Because there's time and there's money involved in it. So what's the return on investment for my business if I start this podcast? Podcast takes, it is time consuming and it takes a lot of time before you start creating or adding followers. And followers are great until or unless they become customers. And that's just from the business perspective. So just being mindful that if you're thinking about creating a podcast, making sure that it is actually aligned to a business strategy. You're not just creating a podcast. There are a lot of existing podcasts that look for keynote speakers or look for thought leaders. Obviously, this network being one of them. So highly encourage you to come on the Black Business Expo, USA.com and find out more. But this is just something else that I wanted to share in terms of social media. Another thing with social media that's more of a cautionary tale is being very careful, because this is where you also need to manage your reputation. So one of the things that we do with our clients or with our consultations is the first thing is we ask people to Google and we do a scrub. There's a lot of things that are on social media that can negatively impact your brand. You don't have to like and share everything that you see on social media. And you have to think about the positioning of your business. If you're a business owner, or even if you're an executive within the business, or you have a team within that business, just remember that everything that you say on social media remains on social media. The information is always there. So just be mindful about what you're communicating on social media as a business. Again, especially entrepreneurs, what are you communicating on social media and how that will positively or negatively impact your business, your bottom line, and then just being very creative or just being very cautious about, how you're representing your brand on your business. The last thing I want to share around business and social media is there are a lot of tools and mediums that are available. So there's still, Facebook still exists. Okay. So there are a lot of Facebook groups that still exist. I realize a lot of people shifted from Facebook, but there's a healthy community there. There are still millions of people using that medium. But if that's not the place for you, then, maybe thinking about Instagram and LinkedIn, absolutely, and TikTok and things of that nature. But try not to be everywhere all at the same time, and kind of focus on the mediums that work for you. If an audible version is the route for you, and you prefer to not ever be on video, then thinking about a medium that satisfies that. There are a lot of folks that are doing podcasts, meaning traditional podcasts, meaning they're audible, like Spotify and podcasts, info, and all of those things. So just really thinking about which medium works well for you, and get the message across. And then what is your long-term goal for being on social media? Again, if you're in business, it really should be helping you generate sales. Maybe it's the way that you're staying connected with your customers, your potential clients. Maybe it's the way that you're bringing awareness just to your company. So maybe it's purely for awareness. Or maybe it's a way for you to attract investors in future projects and things like that. And if that's the case, then just being very strategic and clear about what that is, and how you're going to support those efforts. So those are the kind of the cautionary tales around social media that I wanted to share. Hi, Sydney.
Hi.
All right, so we're going to wait for Sydney to come back in. I could talk for days on branding and social media space, and like I said, happy to take questions.
Yeah, I didn't mean for you to stop so abruptly, but it was a wonderful, wonderful talk, jam-packed with info and insights. And as I work with my clients, taking the information from branding to how they grow their business, so many of the things that you talked about there, the things that people either misunderstand or misuse, don't quite understand what branding is, and therefore, are working on the wrong thing. So I know it should be, very, very helpful for folks. Now tell people how they can, again, get a hold of you when they want to take this conversation further, or, engage you in, your consulting about branding, et cetera.
So you can reach us at learncoachmodelgroup.com. So LCM Group, that's what we stand for, learncoachmodelgroup.com. You can find us there. You can also Google me as Mrs. Pie. You can find me as Mrs. Pie. I'm on the streets, y'all. And again, or even Googling Shelly Jeffcoat. I'm literally everywhere. So that's the best way to reach out. I love hearing from folks. So also for those of y'all who are catching the replays, drop your comments in the chat and let us know how branding is working for you. And, if you have best practices, I love getting tips. So make sure you drop that in, especially on the YouTube for Black Business Network, Black Business Expo. Please make sure you drop that in the chat, because we're all here to help each other.
Now, I know at the beginning of your talk, you said that, you were focusing this on small and mid-sized businesses.
Yeah.
A lot of times with people with your, wealth and diversity of experiences, people think, oh, they'll never work with somebody like me. I'm too small. Do you work with small and mid-sized?
I do.
I just want you to say, because a lot of times people go, oh, she won't work with somebody like me. I'm just too small. I'm too tiny. She knows too much. So.
Yeah, no, I do do a lot of consults too, just to, again, sometimes people just want to be, they just have questions. Am I on the right track? And there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, we do those consults. I also, I'm also building a community of other experts that I contract out to help, because, we're growing and we need to help other folks. So please, definitely reach out. And by the way, I am that person. If I don't know the answer, I know someone who does. Right. So please don't miss the opportunity to, again, we're here to support each other. If I win, you win. If you win, I win.
Great. All right. Well, appreciate all of your time, your energy, your contributions. Thank you for being on the show this morning. And as we say, genius is common. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Again, just a wealth of information. Thank Shelley for being on the show. Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or for K through 12 entrepreneurs. The expo is a fundraiser for students, so you can go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Again, that's www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or to use the Cash App that should be rolling on the screen below you with the account $BBXUSA. Again, $BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. And students, you can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts. So we want to remind you, please donate to the scholarship fund. We want to thank also our Black Business Expo USA sponsors for this month of August 2023. Those sponsors include NC 100, Moody Capital Partners, Suede Soul, Lotus Richer Coaching and Training, Carolina, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council, Step Management, BHS and Associates, Margie McLean Foundation, Inc., Genius is Common, Earth Essentials, Milani Shani Global, the Executive Women's Success Institute, the Quality Coaching Company, Superwoman Business Services, Creative Force Studios, Lee Entertainment, Artistic App Design, and Black Business Expo USA. So remember, genius is common. I'll see you on the other side.
Over the past few years, we've seen the growth of existing and new initiatives focused on financial inclusion, building global networks, and reducing the wealth gap in response to the idea there's not enough seats at the table. Whether their outcomes are to increase the representation of Black executives on corporate boards, ensure an inclusive global economy, or to create new U.S. African commercial pathways, the strategies are often carried out by separate programs. The question is, should they be? With the continent of Africa being home to more than half of the world's fastest growing economies, the youngest workforce, over 400 companies generating more than $1 billion annually, 700 generating more than $500 million annually that are poised for growth, and being the destination of nearly $5 billion in venture capital in 2021. Diversifying U.S. and Africa commercial engagement by building bridges between African businesses and their U.S. diaspora should begin being seen as mutually beneficial. From helping to reduce Africa's enormous capital gap to catalyzing two-way trade opportunities, the COVID-19 global pandemic hopefully has taught us that global challenges and opportunities are more interconnected than we thought. During the pandemic, African companies like Unicorn Flutterwave, insurance provider Reliance Health, ride-hailing app Yasir, and 54Gene, the continent's first bank of DNA on people of African descent, proved that when African companies have access to networks, capital, and information, they grow big, grow fast, and create solutions that are valuable to the world. This is why Be Direct was created. We are the first U.S.-based but African-centric board preparedness and board search company designed to connect U.S. Black talent and corporations to African businesses. Unique and fundamental to Be Direct's success is our process of helping board candidates adapt their experience and networks to an African context before they're connected to high-growth companies that are looking to locally and globally scale. From our focus groups with African business execs and government leaders, we don't ignore the sentiment that business is easy, but people are hard. Having a pool of board candidates with hard-to-access networks and extensive experience across the business life cycle, including successfully raising capital, is table stakes for an initiative like this. So yes, we have that. But corporate or entrepreneurial success in the U.S. does not guarantee success in Africa. Developed alongside industry partners on the continent, our training program, Be Direct Prep, is designed to transpose their experience to create cultural comfort, understanding, and a commitment to helping businesses in Africa scale. Our board governance sessions are African continental and country specific, integrated with cultural awareness and dexterity training, masterclasses led by African industry execs, and mentoring and coaching from African continental-based facilitators. But even more unique to Be Direct Prep, we cap off our training program with an immersion trip to help candidates that have not been to Africa before see and feel Africa's complexity and opportunity from African soil. We all know traditional network-based board placement has historically left a lot of us out of ever really being in the paid board pipeline. Our strategy supports the work of many great organizations that are successfully filling seats at U.S. board tables by creating more tables for those that are still left on the sideline. It's time to start seeing the role and value of U.S. Black talent and businesses on the continent of Africa differently. Old perceptions and habits limit economic inclusion. Let's transition Black talent and the African businesses they will support from the periphery of the global economy to its core. Living in a global lockdown, we all know now how fast local and global economies can change and see the value of having businesses that hire, strengthen local value chains, and even grow globally. Status quo in any form holds back progress. We must democratize U.S.-Africa commercial engagement by socially and economically connecting cultures that have long been disconnected. It's time for Africa's U.S. diaspora to redefine their global value by helping African businesses scale continentally and globally.
Hey guys, my name is Caden. I'm the CEO of Caden Teaches, and my genius is teaching kids about financial literacy.
Did you know that our Black dollar only lasts for 6 hours in our community? Yet other communities, their dollars last for 19 to 30 days.
The Black Wall Street Nation. Black Wall Street Nation. Yes, that's why we created the Black Wall Street Nation. Black Wall Street Nation is a centralized directory available to all Black businesses across the world. It was created for businesses like you, the ones that want to start and the ones who have a dream that have already started, such as businesses like Drop in a Bucket Productions, Valito Foods, Sugar Tea Branding Firm, All the Dazzle, Bun Cakeaholic, Miss Riot, and you. We'll have marketing, seminars, and some funding coming soon just for you. So, we want you to come and join us. www.blackwallstreetnation.com. See you there.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
Hello, this is Israel, and I am CEO of Daydreams Interactive and author of Princess Planet. So, genius is common, and as a kid, I loved to daydream. Even as an adult, I loved to daydream. And when my daughter became 6 and loved princess characters, but we just could not find the diversity that showed her, we created our own characters. So, for instance, you have Princess Nulu right here. Princess Nulu is from Uganda, and her genius is that she loves to take care of animals. She can actually even listen and hear what they say. And then we have Princess Isabella right here. Princess Isabella, she's from Cuba, and her genius is biochemistry. One day she hopes to eliminate disease. Then we have Princess Nia right here. And Princess Nia is based off of my daughter. And she is what she wants to be, the greatest dancer alive. So that's her genius. So what's your genius? My genius is my imagination. Genius is common.
Hello, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. And my genius is helping women accelerate the path to success. You know, I was blessed to have strong women in my life who encouraged, motivated, and pushed me to do my best and to never even think about giving up on my dreams. So I say to women, we must show up to rise up. We have talents and potential, but who will see them if we don't speak up and get noticed? I know that women are a tremendous resource on this planet, and there is nothing more fulfilling than helping a woman tap into her full potential. I do this because I want to be a part of helping as many women as I can to show up, to rise up. I do this because genius is common.
So what we have to do is when we get in a spot, we need to create some spots for us. That's the main thing. We need to be able to be in a position where we're able to create those spots for us. For me, being an entrepreneur, I'm not just going to get a business and then leave you sitting high and dry. If you ask me some questions about entrepreneurship, I'm going to give you as much as I've received. I've seen people who made it, and then when you ask them, it's like, okay, now you have to pay me for the information, the same information I got for free. We probably in totally different cities. There's no way that we're going to bump heads or anything. We're not competing. Bring me up with you. And so I just think that whatever education that I have, then I need to be able to give that to my own as well. So create the spots. You can create the spots when you get there.
Are you aware that showing off your expertise can gain customers and position you as an expert in your industry? Consumers need confidence to purchase. So let us showcase your knowledge by interviewing you for a 3 to 5 minute video. We'll position you as an industry expert with a customized interview style video, and for a limited time, we'll cover all production costs. Click this ad or call now for all the information. You'll want to experience the same 5-star service our customers love. So take advantage of this one-time offer. Click this ad or contact us now.
Phenomenal Tanya T. Wise, who is here from the great state of Maryland. Tanya, welcome and thank you for being with us today. Can you indulge our audience a little bit and tell them just a little bit more about who you are and what it is that you do?
Well, I love being able to talk to people and have a magnetic attitude, being able to just show them. So I always like to say, level up is Coach at Tanya T. Wise here.
So can you tell our audience, just give them a teaser about what your presentation will be about?
So my philosophy is that we should all be living our dream life. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about how you start living your dream life. What are some of the things that you thought about in your childhood that you just kind of let go and dormant?
Wow.
And I want to reignite that and just give you some pointers and some tips, some tools, some strategies to be able to start living your best life now. And guess what, Rhonda? And leave an inheritance for your legacy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I know that's resonating with a lot of people. I've heard that you have a dynamic coaching program. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So our coaching program help people that have the lack of time, that lack strategies, and lack the confidence to go after their dream life. So we help them implement tools, we help them implement strategies, as well as give them resources so that they can live their best life now and leave that inheritance.
Wow. Oh, I love that. I love the leave the inheritance part. Listen, you are dropping some major nuggets, and I know a lot of what you're saying is resonating with a lot of people, but I think we're all curious. How did you even make this transition into the speaking and coaching arena? What's the story behind this?
So I started out in finance, and I realized that a lot of people don't necessarily go after their dream life because of the lack of finances or the education behind finances. But it wasn't until I lost my firstborn, my only son, that life changed for me. And where I was going after it all, living the corporate life, hit my 6-figure income, and living in my dream house with my dream man, driving my dream car. I nearly lost it all when I lost my son. And so I realized it only takes one financial catastrophe that can change your entire life. That's what made me start All New Beginnings. Because no matter what's going on in life, there's a new beginning. And because of that, we develop a program called Wise Minded. My little slogan is, don't just dream it, let's live it.
If they want to connect with you or work with you, what is the best ways for them to be able to do that?
Well, for my social media guru, you can connect with me on every single social media platform as Tanya T. Wise.
Did you know women represent just 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and less than 15% of corporate executives at top companies worldwide? Have you wondered what the secrets are to getting into the top ranks, whether in the private or public sector? Do you want to figure out how to stop being held back in your career or passed over for promotion? Then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. I have decades of experience in the military, the federal government, and corporate America. And my mission is to help women succeed and tap into their full potential. I want to reach 1 million+ women around the world to become the leaders they are meant to be. So if you want to move into a management or executive level position, or maybe you are a female veteran transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship, then reach out to the Executive Women's Success Institute at 301-693-3284. Let us get you on the fast track to success.
Genius is common, and my genius is nutritional strategy. I am Shawnee Smith, the owner and creator of Can Do Spice. Can Do Spice was created because I knew that adding herbal and mineral supplements to my diet did not have to be boring. In fact, because I'm a food enthusiast, I knew I could create something flavorful and explosive that also had the benefit of adding herbal supplements such as sea moss, bladderwrack, burdock root, and black seed, just to name a few. I invite you to take this journey with me where we come together and take control of our nutritional health. It is my way of sharing my genius, the gift of flavor and the healing power of herbs to the world. What is your genius?
Hey, it's your girl Colette V. Smith. The V is for victory. My mama would tell you the V is for Veronica, but it's Colette V. Smith, the NFL's first African-American woman to coach in the history of the National Football League, by way of being the first female in 2017 to coach in New York Jets franchise history. Today, I'm the founder of Believe in You Incorporated. Believe in You Incorporated. I got here because I didn't limit myself. I started thinking freely, living life freely. Don't limit yourself. Unleash your power, the power that God created you to be and to have. I got here because I didn't just follow a path. I created my own. You can do the same thing. You know why I know this? Because genius is common.
Attention all entrepreneurs and companies. Are you looking for reliable and efficient virtual assistants and back office support to help you manage your business tasks? Look no further than Superwoman Business Services. Our team of virtual assistants provides a full range of administrative support services, including operations management, social media marketing, and much more. We also offer website design services to help you create a professional online presence that reflects your unique brand. In addition to administrative support and website design, we offer business development and structuring services to help you grow your business and achieve your goals. We'll work closely with you to identify areas of improvement and develop a customized plan to help you reach your full potential. At Superwoman Business Services, we understand that running a business can be overwhelming and time-consuming. That's why we're here to help you fly high and achieve success. Our virtual assistants are highly skilled, experienced, and dedicated to providing you with the support you need to thrive. Come fly with us and take your business to new heights. Let us help you become the superhero entrepreneur you are meant to be. Contact Superwoman Business Services today to learn more about our back office support services. Come fly with us and take your business to new heights. I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business.
Join Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school, all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina.
Join Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school, all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world.
Good morning, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Sidney Wormsby. I am the CEO and founder of Strategic Solutions and Uertis A. Decus. We are a business growth and improvement firm that helps small and mid-sized businesses grow their revenues and profits. I am your business moderator for this morning on the Black Business Network. And the Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. Our next speaker is Mr. Wade Randolph, who's the CEO of Randolph Unlimited. And over the last 18 years, he has worked throughout the nation, imparting invaluable wisdom to fellow business professionals. Whether the focus is on enhancing leadership capabilities, cultivating efficient teamwork, utilizing motivational strategies, or refining business communication, he serves as the motivating factor in providing business professionals with a wealth of best practices and strategic insights. These insights empower you and other business owners and business professionals not only to stay ahead, but to truly excel beyond your competition. Wade invites you to step into a realm where excellence thrives and mediocrity is left behind. I present to you Mr. Wade Randolph. Oh, you're on mute.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Great. You know, I tend to tell my clients I demand that my day go good. How about you?
Well, I make my my day go good. It won't just listen to me. So, but I try to make it happen. So you got more power than me. You can make yours listen.
Yeah, well, we will see about that. I always say there are three types of people in this world: people that watch things happen, people that wonder what happened, and
Right.
people that make things happen. So we're going to make something happen this morning.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'm going to get out of your way and let you
Well,
talk
we
to
were
folks.
going to do I was hoping that you would stay around and we'll do a fireside chat, or
okay,
and then we'll just give people insights and strategies, or Shelley, of what leadership is and how we can give them insights to take their job, their business, and personal life maybe to the next level. So if that's not you, that must be Shelley. Shelley, good morning.
Good morning. And that is right up my alley. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more of what you have to say. And I definitely want to talk to you about your book. I want to dig into that a little bit more. So let's get started.
Okay, it's all you.
All right. So the first thing is, and I am doing my cheat notes because I was trying to figure out a better way to prepare for UA. But again, this topic is kind of dear to our hearts. And as I was thinking about the book that you wrote, How to Lead During Times of Change, Challenge, and Chaos, this is perfect timing. I think a lot of us coming out of COVID, quite frankly, and the pandemic and all those things over the past 3 years, we really needed to, refine our skill sets when it comes from a leadership perspective. So I just wanted to know, just to get started, how do you get started in leadership training?
Realistically, sometimes you have to be willing to move past your comfort zone. See, what keeps us a noose around our neck, what keeps us small and living a life that is less than what we deserve, is staying in our comfort zone. I'm reminded of one time when I was called I used to run real estate firms, used to be managers per se, of real estate firm. The last firm that I worked in, the owner called me in and said, look, we're going to make some changes. I said, good. He said, well, I want to talk with you. And I'm like, I'm busy now. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been in a job and you tell the owner you're busy, that doesn't go well. So he said, look, I really need to talk with you. We're going to make some changes, and I need to have you in my office about 3. Say 3:05 won't work. I was there at 2:30 just to ensure that I could meet with him. And he said, Mr. Randolph, you seem like a person here that knows how to approach the people, knows how to motivate them. But, our production is not the same. So we're going to let some people go.
Wow.
And I said, well, what does that mean for me? And he says, well, we are hoping that you would consider being the new manager. And I said, well, I appreciate that, but I'm not interested in being a manager because we've already have a manager. He said, let me tell you, we released the manager before this meeting. And quite frankly, if you're not interested in being the manager, then we don't need you.
Wow.
Shelley, let me tell you something. Sometimes you've got to think about making a tough decision. You see, I didn't have any management experience. I didn't know. I was a good guy that could give insight, give focus, but leading people, that is a different skill set. Ever been there?
Yes, absolutely.
And I said, well, I'm not sure that's a job for me. He said, young man, you need to think about your answer. And I said, well, look, wait a minute. Let me call my wife and get her perspective. So I said, if you give me about 10 minutes just to have a conversation. I went outside, never forget it. And I called my wife and I said, look, I've been offered the manager's position. She said, you've never managed anything. And I said, yeah. She said, let me tell you something. She said, is anyone around? I said, no. She said, make sure you're in a quiet place that we can talk confidentially. She said, we have bills to pay. We all have bills to pay. She said, I want you to think about this. If you accept that position, then you need to become the best manager that they ever had. You need to be willing to look at yourself and see what you need to learn, what skills you need to enhance, and what you need to be so that you'll keep that job. But let me tell you, and listen real closely, dear, because I love you. If you're not going to do that, don't take that job.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Shelley, We need people around us. I tell my clients, sometimes you got to find a power partner. What's a power partner? You got to find somebody that tells you not what you want to hear, but tells you what you need to hear in order to move yourself past your limitations. I took that job. 3 years later, I took that company to number 2 in the market before the owner sold it. See, that adversity, that thinking small was what was keeping me and holding me back. And my wife's conversation gave me a bigger picture of myself and a perspective of what I needed to take myself and other people to the next level. Here's a question the audience needs to ask. What will they do to take themselves and the people that are waiting on them to share their gifts to the next level?
Wow. There's so many nuggets, y'all. There are so many nuggets in what Wade just said. I'm literally pulling the web apart because my next question was going to be, I wanted to get your thoughts around how you define leadership. And it's already kind of clear to me. I think for the rest of us, you can kind of see the foundations of what that looks like. I love the fact that you talked about having that power partner, but can you touch a little bit more about how do you define leadership?
Yeah, let's give the audience a real definition. Let's not.
Yes.
Let's throw away the fluff because there's too much fluff right now. People are saying, what is leadership? Because now, since the pandemic, leadership has changed.
Yes.
And if you're not willing to change, then you'll always be limited on what you can do, always be limited on the people you can affect, and always be limited in the life that you live. So let's give concrete information this morning. What is leadership? I heard a great definition that I've learned and I've adopted. John Quincy Adams, a man that's not known for much, was a president. Most people don't even know he was a president. But one thing that he said, if I can help a person to do more, to dream more, to accomplish more, I am a leader. So here's the question we have to ask. And I want the audience to step back and think for a moment. Who are you helping to accomplish more? Who are you helping to dream more? Who are you helping today to become more, so when they look back, they know that they met somebody that brought something out of them instead of leaving them the same way that they met you in that same morning? If I can help somebody to dream more, to do more, to become more, then you are a leader.
Wow. So as we're thinking about, and again, so the impact of the people around you, and even as you were growing up, who were some of the people who kind of shaped who you are today as a leader?
Oh, that's a slippery slope, Shelley. Because we have leaders around us all the time. We just have to be willing to stop and learn from each other. Iron sharpens iron. Please write that down. Iron sharpens iron. Who are you sharpening, and who has sharpened you? As I was coming up, I worked for a gentleman. I'm outside of Richmond, Virginia. I worked for a gentleman named Sam Plush. He owned the smallest restaurant his restaurant was on the smallest block here in the city of Richmond, North 25th and P, called Triangles. And Shelley, sometimes you don't really know who you are and what the value that you bring.
That's right.
I used to run around with a lot of hard heads when I was young. I'm a project kid. 2112 Red Street, grew up in the projects. They used to call it bucket of blood and shoot up alley, because you never know if you would make it the next day or the next month. So I didn't really have a future. And Mr. Plush had me to work for him, and he used to say, "Mosquito," that's what he used to call me, "Mosquito, what are you doing today, boy, to grow yourself?" And I used to say, "Mr. Plush, come on, give me a break." And it's interesting, now that I've gotten older, wiser, maybe a little balder, they used to call me Mosquito, and I used to wonder, why did they used to call me that? And if you ever think about a mosquito, a mosquito doesn't have a lot of value. Mosquito doesn't see a lot of value in themselves, and they go around like a vampire drawing blood from other people. And I was more of a taker instead of a giver.
Wow.
And I think my question comes up, are you a giver or are you a taker? Who are you giving to that you can give a vision of themselves? or are you taking from them so they will never grow to another level? And he said, I never forget one night I got with the guys and I was stealing hubcaps. And someone said, pump, pump, pump. And the guy said, run, he's shooting. And the guy that we were stealing from was shooting because we were stealing from him and taking his hubcaps. And I stopped and I never forget, I told the guy, I said, look, man, look and see what I got. He says, man, woo, that's a pretty hubcap, big Cadillac rim, if I can be old school right now. And he says, man, I'm going to give you $25 for it. And I said, 25? He said, yeah, man, take $25. And I took it. And I got back to Mr. Plush late that night. I used to work the night shift. And he said, young man, where have you been? Been trying to reach you all day. I said, Mr. Plush, look, I made $25. He said, look, I don't know how you made that. I said, look, I got some rims. And he said, young man, let me ask you a question. You risked your life for $25. What's your life worth? What's your life worth? Shelley, even as I tell you that, Mr. Plush's words still ring in my ear, not just to you, but to others. What's your life worth? What is it that you are willing to give your life for so that you can put a stamp on it to say, I have been here. I have made a difference. I have done something that when I look back, I have no regrets. Mr. Plush's words ring true. The person that modeled me, that helped model me, Sam Plush, what's your life worth?
Wow, what's your life worth? That is, I was as you were saying this, I was thinking about, again, going back to the past few years, and I definitely want to get your take on how you think leadership has changed recently, and it has. The short answer is it has, to your point. But even the statement that you just made, and the fact that having someone speak those types of words into you, and that the fact that it resonated, so that where you are today, you're still able to lean on some of those words. So I wanted to find out, what are some of the changes you've seen recently in leadership? Again, coming out of the pandemic, right? And we're being real, right? So what are some of the changes you've seen?
Well, here are two things that I talk about with my clients. Number one, we've gone into a mindset that we treat everybody like they are part of the group. People don't want to be a group mentality anymore. They want to be treated like people.
Right.
Treat people like people. Stop for a moment. Talk with people about what's going on with them. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Let me say that again.
Wow.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So, I went to a conference here in the city of Richmond. And there was a young lady, she was standing by herself, and she said, are you busy? I said, no. She said, can I just talk to you for a moment? And I said, yeah, I'm here at the conference. I'm waiting for my wife. And she went on to how tough her day was, how difficult things had been at the job. And at the end of our conversation, she said, you know what? Can I get your card? Because I just needed someone to talk with, just someone to share my challenges with. And I will appreciate that if we could stay in contact. That lady, see, it wasn't what I gave. Sometimes you just got to be willing to give people. And the biggest thing is take time and listen. Listen to what people are going through. Listen to what people are challenged, and listen to what they are dealing with, because sometimes the greatest value is treat people like they want to be treated, not like what you want to treat. People like they want to be treated. That's what one of the problems are now. People sometimes just need to be sharing what they're going through and who they are. That conversation, she has called me several times, and I never knew that she was the director of one of the Fortune 500 industries in my city.
Wow.
You just never know who you'll
never
meet.
know.
You just never know.
Oh, wow. So listening skills, listening skills in that situation. Also, I'm hearing themes of, so we use some of these words again over the past 3 years, but here Wade is showing you modeling the actual behavior. So I want y'all to pick up on that as well. He's not just speaking, he's actually doing it, which is something that I look for in leadership skills. So, that listening, but also empathy, and being able to just sometimes just giving people the time and the respect as they're,
Can we talk about that word? Because that
Yes.
word, especially, you asked me how leadership has changed. Do we respect each other? Do we respect each other? I worked with a gentleman a few years ago at a local hospital. And he brought me in and he said, Wade, I need you to work with my group. And I said, well, why? He says, well, I think they have potential, but I don't have the ability to bring it out of them. And I have to make a tough decision. See, a tough decision in the corporate world is somebody's going to be leaving.
Yeah.
And I said, well, his name was Ed. I said, Ed, why don't you let him go? He said, Wade, no, because I know that they have potential and I just need to listen to them to see what we can bring out of them. And I said, Ed, what's the real thing that you want out of them? He said, look, they are hard workers. I respect them for being hard workers. See, sometimes it's the respect that we have of the skill that they have, and we just need to help people develop the other skill to bring them to another level. Shelley, in 2 months after working with them, they became the number one group in that hospital. Why? Because he didn't let them go, because he respected their hard work, that he grew, that their deficiencies of teamwork, of working with each other and understanding what they could do, because he respected them from another level. How well do you respect your coworker? How well do you see not the skill that you want to see, but the skill that they have? And how well are you shining them that you can bring them to another level so that they shine as the person that you knew they could be?
That, that as you're saying that, I'm thinking about other situations. I want to know about situations that you've run into. Obviously, we're not naming names, but some of maybe the challenges as you're trying to coach up, right? You're trying to coach up. So can you share some of those? I think that's going to help a lot of us who are on the other side who need some help. How do you manage those?
So let's talk about a real situation I'm dealing with right now with a client. I have a client that emailed me last night, and life's like a grindstone. Sometimes it will shine you and sometimes it will grind you to your knees. Yeah. And the information that she sent me was, look, my test didn't come out right. The doctor has scheduled surgery for me next month. I've got to take chemo after that, and I really don't know how to deal with this. See, life's tough, but let's be honest, life's tough sometimes. But sometimes you need that voice in your ear that can help you stay sound and find your right mind. My coach, Les Brown, used to say, sometimes I'm going to lose my mind up in here. Sometimes life's going to make you want to lose your mind. And I've got a call for her this morning, and I just want to say a few words to her. We can make it through. You're not alone. That realistically, I want you to listen not to the negative things that people are telling you, that you can't do it, that you can't make it, that you don't know how you're going to work to make this out. As a man or woman, think if so is he or she.
That's right.
In a tough time, you got to change your thinking. You got to get around people that says, no, that's not the way I want you to think. I want you to think not about your limitations, but your unlimited ability. I want you to ask yourself, what can I do today to have a good day? What can I do today to help people move forward? What can I do today just to bring a smile to my face? See, here's one thing I want people to write down. And this is what I do with my clients. Questions are the steering wheel of the mind.
Wow. Can you say that again? Say that one more time.
Questions are the steering wheel of the mind.
Wow.
You've got to ask yourself a better question in order to move yourself to a better point of taking action. So if you're saying, well, the day is not going to be good. You got to ask yourself, what can I do today at this moment to make the day good? You've got to ask yourself, what can I do to make myself feel empowered right now? So the question that I always like to ask is, at this moment, at this point that you're listening to Shelley and Wade, who are you being? Who are you being that you're showing the best in you? Who are you being when you go into the office? Are you going to be the same old worker you came in yesterday, or could you be a better person? And what's the question you need to ask yourself? Who are you being, so that realistically you can say, who do I need to be to pick up the phone and talk to somebody that I haven't talked to in a long time and bring a smile to their face? Who are you being? Questions are the steering wheel of the mind.
Wow. And when you're thinking about leadership, and again, for those who are not in, and another thing, again, so this is my hour with Wade, so just bear with me, because while I have him, I've got lots of questions, okay? And a lot of us have these same questions, but when we're talking about leadership skills and leaders and leadership in general, the distinction that a lot of people tend to make is that when we're talking about leaders, you naturally meet an executive. And I think that is where a lot of us trip up. It's not about the job title. We're talking about the qualities and the skills. And I think when you hit on the point about respect, and the example that you gave about that leader who had to learn, or that organization had to learn how just basic respect of the task-driven force, sure. Right? Can you talk a little bit about even that distinction that, again, a lot of us make that distinction, well, I don't have the right job title, so I'm not a leader, versus, it really doesn't matter what job title. You could be a janitor and be a leader. You could be an analyst and be a leader. You can be an exec and be a leader. Can you touch a little bit on that?
Sure. Sometimes we need to throw the titles away.
Yeah.
Titles is what limit us and limit our thinking and our ability to help each other. In one of my businesses, my wife and I run a real estate business. And I often walk in and I will see attorneys and I will say, good morning, let me introduce myself. I'm Wade Randolph. And the attorney said, well, I'm Attorney Johnson. And I'm like, no, that's not. You see, he wears that title, and that title is the limit because he doesn't know how to approach people just like a normal person. Wow. And sometimes the title that we wear, Executive Johnson, Executive Wilson, manager, whatever, here's the question that we have to ask. What if you lost that position?
That's right.
Who will you be? So can we go a little bit deeper, Shelley?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, I've been burned out to the clothes on my back. I lost everything. Even lost the job. They told me, no, if you can't make it here, you no need to come back. And because I didn't have a place to stay, I lost my job too. But see, here's the thing that's very important. Who are you behind your words? See, if you lost everything today, how will you show up? How will you be to other people? What are you grateful for this morning that brings out the real essence of who Shelley Jeffcoat is? What are you grateful for today that if you didn't have anything, that you will greet people knowing that you can get back up because you've been down? Who are you behind your words? Because it's our words that defines us. And sometimes we need to look at another words and let go of the title and treat each other like people. So, the reality is it's not about the title. It's about seeing the greatness in you, because when I see the greatness in Shelley Jeffcoat, it brings out and reflects the greatness in me. See, in order to see darkness, you've got to have darkness in you. But in order to see light, you got to be willing to see the light in you. Who can you see, the person that you're talking to today, and the beauty in them, so you can elevate the beauty in both of you? Let's lose the title and look for the essence of who the person really is. That's when you know if you can bring that smile to someone's face and know and talk to them like they matter, you're ready to lead.
Wow. The perception and the positioning is like what came to my mind. The perception that we have of others because of the job title. and the positioning and the way that we elevate some, which it really talks to how we respect each other. We elevate some people because of their title, and that, honestly, that doesn't work, because at the end of the day, we're all people. And so I want to find out from you, like, what are some of the unsuccessful stories, or what makes a terrible leader?
I did some work here for a department in the state of Virginia. Won't give any names. And when I walked in, the manager said, let me talk to you about the problem I'm having with my people. See, there are always two sides to each story. And I said, great. And I said, well, let me interview 3 of your people from the department. And he says, why do you want to do that? I said, because I always want to get the full perspective. You see, realistically, in order to solve a problem, you got to look at the full perspective. What's the problem? What's the solution? And what's in between? Most people don't want to address what's in between.
Yeah.
When I talked with his people, they said, I hate him. Hate is a strong word that I never allow my clients to use, but his people and the team said, I hate him. You ever seen a bald head guy sweat? And I said, how do I solve this? Because realistically, the barrier is in the middle. And sometimes you got to take a step back and look at the full problem. Like I said, they said, I hate him, and he didn't understand them. The problem was the communication.
Yeah.
I think it was George Foreman says that sometimes you're like a blind man and you're waiting for somebody to lead you back to your real essence of who you are. And both people were so entrenched in their position. I was the linchpin that needed to help lead them back to what they could be so they could communicate. How are you communicating with the people around you? How are you listening at a deep level, not just at a surface level? How are you listening at a deep level to each other? Or are you listening at all? See, a lot of people like to talk, but the one real skill is we got to listen, but write this down, listen at a deep level. So I said, let me go out on a limb. Let me bring everybody together. And we had an interview session. And I asked them, I said, be respectful, but I want you to interview the manager itself. You see, one part of leadership that I learned from reading Nelson Mandela's The Way of Mandela is a great leader always is willing to listen to his people before he speaks. And I asked his group, I said, please ask him any question that you want. And Shelley, I was sweating all the way. You see, sometimes you don't know the answer, but sometimes you got to walk by faith and not by sight. Sometimes you won't know the answer. And realistically, I had them to interview him. And he said, look, I only want to bring out the best in you. That's why I'm so difficult. That's why I'm so hard on you. I know that you got the talent. I just want to bring out the best in all of you. When he said that, the whole dynamic changed. Sometimes we got to listen and learn from each other so we move together to another level.
Wow, this was so powerful, Sydney. I think this is the best, and I've been on many, many shows, many speakers, but I think this has been the best leadership discussion I've heard in quite some time. So thank you so much, and especially for sharing your personal story and all of the examples that you gave that we could really use in real life. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
No, thank you for being here.
Well, for both of you, thank you very much. Shelley, you for leading the conversation and helping to provide a platform for Wade to bring it out, but Wade, you for bringing it out and sharing it with the folks. And I'm going to tell you, anybody who was tuned in who isn't ready to walk through a wall right now,
right,
either wasn't listening or is deaf. So, one of those two things. So it was really great information, great advice, great counseling, and really appreciate your time, your energies, your efforts. So with that, I will say to both, genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you. Have a great morning.
Bye.
this expo is a fundraiser for students. So you can go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund. Again, that's www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Or you can use the Cash App that should be rolling through the bottom of your screen using the account number $BBXUSA. Again, $BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. And students, you can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts, so we want to remind you, please donate to the scholarship fund. We want to also take time to thank our Black Business Expo USA sponsors for the month of August 2023. Those sponsors include NC100, Moody Capital Partners, Suede Soul, Lotus Richer Coaching and Training, Carolina, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council, STEP Management, BHS and Associates, Margie McLean Foundation, Inc., Genius is Common, Earth Essentials, Milani Shani Global, Executive Women's Success Institute, The Quality Coaching Company, Superwoman Business Services, Creative Force Studios, Lee Entertainment, Artistic App Design, Black Business Expo USA. So remember, genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
I am a child of the Most High God. He has gifted me in ways that I could not even imagine and didn't know.
There was a time when I didn't know who I was. I listened to other people tell me who I should be, what I should do. I listened to people telling me that I should be a boutique owner, that I should be a construction manager, that I should be a laborer. Have you ever felt like you should do something else, be something else, go somewhere else, be wherever you wanted to be, and you felt like you were in a box? Anybody in the room? And you couldn't get out. Anybody in the room? And you kept trying to go and go and you couldn't get out. Anybody in the room? But let me tell you, you need to rock the box. Rock the box.
I am engaging, inspiring, and empowering. I would give you everything I know. Just by touching you, if I could, by osmosis, give you every single thing I've learned, I've gone through, I know I would. We know that's not possible, but as it is possible, I love to share information with people.
Some of you out there, people have told you that you can't be, you can't have, you can't do. But I will tell you, like Kingston said, you can, you must, and you will. If it's to be, it's going to be me. You got to say it. If it's to be, it's going to be. If it's to be, it's going to be. If it's to be, it's going to be.
Barbara is because she believed what her mama said about her and not what other people told her.
Every day you wake up, when you're in a situation, it's your choice whether it's an advantage or the disadvantage.
She gained her confidence and her life, and now she is a testimony.
If I can help you elevate yourself, then I feel like I'm elevating my own self as well. What you know and I know together can change the world.
Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo. One of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina.
Join Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo. One of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world.
Did you know that approximately 333.34 million businesses exist today, according to a report from 2021? And you may be one of those businesses, or maybe you're not in the business market yet, but you're aspiring to be a business owner. Well, guess what?
you're in the right place at the right time. Because let's face it, everything is about timing and opportunity. Hi, my name is Dr. Lotus Richey, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Lotus Richey Coaching and Consulting LLC, along with the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. 15 minutes of success with Dr. Lotus Richey, as well as books to boom your business and bring who you are. And today, I want to bring this amazing message to you about the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics. See, the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics is designed to help people just like you, that's right, that look like me, to take their business to the next level. Not just in your front yard or your backyard, but globally. The Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics is designed not to just help you survive, but to help you thrive. So join us today as we come together with businesses all around the world to support our students, our children, our young teens, our young entrepreneurs. What we do is we come together to help raise funds for students who are aspiring to be business entrepreneurs, who are aspiring and who are thriving in college. We endow them with a wonderful opportunity to gain scholarship of either a laptop or several thousands of dollars. And we invite you to help be a contributor to this amazing opportunity to help someone that looks just like you. So join us today at our website and let us connect with you and help you ignite and take flight in every area of your life on the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics. I'll see you on the other side. Prepare for what's coming and dominate in economic winter. Stand strong and thrive by showcasing your great products and services globally through the Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics. The Black Business Network has showcased over 2,000 companies with over $7 billion in sales each year. Over 10 million attendees have viewed the rebroadcast each month. Through the Black Business Olympics, unique styles of business training and mentoring are turning students into business owners and entrepreneurial warriors who will dominate in any economy. Gain the ultimate advantage of the Black Business Olympics, 7 days of unbelievable topics and speakers speaking around the globe. Donate your time and experience to provide expertise and scholarships to students worldwide and change the world. Now, more than ever, new insights, tools, strategies, and capabilities are needed. This is your chance for a major presentation to the world. Fill out the form and join the more than 2,000 speakers who have presented to over 200 countries. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the Metaverse, STEM City, Black Multiverse Enterprises, Hulu, Amazon, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pod TV, IBM TV, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Sign up today. Spaces are limited, and we will see you there.
This is Dr. Arnold T. Petsworth. He's the owner of Petsworth Vet World, a veterinary clinic in Hopton, Connecticut. His patients include dog, cat, frog, fish,
Goldie,
dog, and this alpaca. Due to doctor-patient confidentiality, we can't tell you their names. Business at Vet World was steady, and then quarantine hit. Neighbors brought new four-legged friends into their homes. Bunnies. Bunnies everywhere. Dr. Petsworth welcomed these new patients with open arms. The only problem? There were more appointments than he could manage. That's when Dr. Petchworth turned to his American Express business card, which offers spending potential that's built for his changing business needs. He decided to hire a new assistant, Julio, and with spending power built for business purchases, he used his card to furnish a new exam room. Together, Dr. Petchworth, Julio, and American Express Business made sure all the pets of Humpton got the love and care they deserve. And everyone was happy. Get the card built for business by American Express.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
Good morning, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, corporations. Welcome back to this episode. I'm so excited to join you. I am Shelly Jeffcoat. I'm also known as Mrs. Pie and CEO of LCM Group. I am your business moderator for this morning on the Black Business Network. And so you know, the Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from all across the world: London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. This is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about businesses. By the way, we are raising funds for a scholarship, so please make sure you check out the website to learn more about that. Now, I want to tell you about the next guest that we have joining. I am so excited to host a conversation and a fireside chat with none other than Jerry Roebuck, who's been an entrepreneur since the age of 11. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just to make sure that you know who we're talking to, because this gentleman is a phenomenal individual in business. He actually conceived the biggest event in the history of Black America, the Black Expo, that ran through 14 cities. He's worked with many Fortune 500 companies on event marketing, advertising, and social issues, including some I just want to call out: Pepsi-Cola, Geico, Philip Morris, names that you know, AT&T, Coca-Cola, Chemical Bank, and BET. He partnered with Russell Simmons' college classmates to be one of the pioneers in creating the world's biggest global music, hip hop, straight out of undergraduate school. Mr. Roebuck is also credited with the strategic and financial growth of TV's Tony Brown Journal. Many of us are very familiar with the longest running program in PBS history as its advertising representative and media consultant. This was an outgrowth of his ability to secure new sponsors like Toyota and Walmart and Texaco and others. And this infused the PBS program with millions of dollars in additional gross income. I also want you to know that he's been a consultant to many urban radio stations in over the 20 markets across the United States. He's a well-recognized educator and community servant who worked in the Harlem community for over 40 years in business and in education. And upon his retirement, he was recognized by the entire New York City Council for his dedicated service to New York City. Mr. Roebuck presently lives and works in Florida and New York City, and I'm so honored to have him join our program today. So I'm going to be leading a fireside chat with Jerry Roebuck, and then we'll get to meet him and hear more about all of his great accomplishments.
Well, that was a great introduction. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here to be able to share my story with the listeners, viewers, And it's always important, I think, to share the experiences that one has, because you never know who you inspire. That meant a lot to me in my years in education, working with young people. And even today, many years later, I hear from many of my former students about maybe a conversation I had with them, an interaction that I had with them, a book that I asked them to read, and how that one little instant inspired them to make a decision in their life 10 years out of high school, 5 years out of college, whatever, that has made them the person they are today. So I really always enjoy sharing my story, but also just experiences that I've had with people.
I appreciate that. Your journey, and again, for those who are watching us live, and many people are going to be watching us on the replay, I think this is a segment you want to also have your teen entrepreneurs listen to, okay? Because I think you're going to pick up some tips. I wanted to find out, so you started in business at age 11. How did you do that? What propelled you to do that?
That's a very young age, and it was a long time ago. I'm not going to give my age away, but let's just say it was over 5 decades ago. But I had moved from living in one location in Harlem, which I'm going to circle back to later. I grew up in Harlem most of my life. This was a house that my grandfather owned on 128th Street between Madison and Park Avenue. The city decided at a time when there was a lot of migration still going on to New York City from African Americans coming from the South to the North, that they were just running out of not only housing, but also space for schools. And so they needed a big middle school in Harlem, in Central Harlem. And it was on the block that they wanted to take over this whole block to build this new school, state-of-the-art school in New York City at the time, which was going to be air conditioned, no windows, etc. So what eminent domain is, they declared eminent domain. My grandfather had passed on, but I lived in this property with my parents, and then we had renters in the property as well. So the city made us move. But I also mentioned that at the time Harlem was growing still, and there was a new development that was built on Lenox Avenue called Delano Village. It was a big complex of brand new, you could say they were high rises. But actually, we lived on the highest floor, the 17th floor. So I moved to that area. I was just 10 years old. And, when you move to a new neighborhood, you befriend kids, And so when I turned 11, I was meeting all these new kids, and my parents were torn between, well, do you still go a few blocks away to meet with your old friends to play and do things, but you're too young. I can't go on my own. So I'm thinking to myself and to my parents having these conversations. I said, well, maybe a way for me to meet new kids and to have some activities. Maybe I could create something fun for the kids to do. Now, this community that I live surrounding it went from Lenox Avenue to Fifth Avenue. So it's a huge block, and it went from 137th all the way to 141st. So it's like three blocks across one long avenue, maybe 10 buildings, 17 stories high.
Wow. And
because the baby boomers, basically everybody in there had young kids, because, at that time in history, after the war, people had 2 and 3 kids. So, white folks are out on Long Island, but in New York City, or unless it was Queens, black men came back from the war, they started families. They had these 2 and 3 kids. So there's hundreds of kids in this community I lived in, as opposed to I lived in a block before, you just associated with kids in your particular block. So I said, well, maybe I can do something for all the kids in our community of Delano Village. So my mother said, okay, that's a great idea. And I told, there was a little community park right in front of our building. So I said, well, see if I could get the park to have for all the kids. So my mother had been involved in church organizations. So we went to the rental office, and they said, okay, for a couple of hours for the day, you can, have the park. And I think it was 25 cents to come in. And then it was games, and I had prizes. So my parents really helped me. We went and we got like a volleyball set. We had, of course, all the things in the park, but we created all these games that kids could play. And then we had prizes. So, you know, the thing about it is there was no advertising. I didn't have a flyer. I just told my friends. And lo and behold, it was highly successful because that day when I went downstairs, a lot of kids were there with their parents holding their hands, waiting to come into the park. And it was just so much fun. But I'm only 11, and I don't remember exactly how much money I collected, but I made a little profit, meaning by the time I paid my parents back for the volleyball game, for the Spalding little round balls, for the 2 or 3 little games that we had, we bought chalk for the girls, we bought jump rope for hopscotch. I made, you know, a few dollars. So I was like, wow. And really, though I'm elaborating a lot, I wanted to do so because that is what inspired me in terms of entrepreneurism. That gave me the spark, the feeling, the energy, the emotion, going to sleep that night, not knowing what was going to happen the next day. Was it going to rain? How many kids were going to come? And then seeing it work. And then the adulation that I not only got from my parents at the end of the day, but more importantly, from the, you know, really inspired me throughout life, whether I was doing parties, whether I was doing Black Expo, though that helped me because that carried on through the rest of my life.
So I want to dig into a Black Expo, but I wanted to ask you before we get there, we're having just a little bit of technical difficulties, so just bear with us. Bear with us, everyone. I'm gonna try to recap if we miss anything.
Taste with business and entrepreneurism. Okay.
There you go. Okay, it's okay.
So that really. Now, I was just saying that lit the spark that carried me throughout my entrepreneurial life.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I was explaining to our viewers, if we have just a little bit of a time lapse, so just bear with us. I wanted to pull the thread though, because as you were sharing the story about how you got started, and I was visualizing being from the 17th floor to where you are now, and some of the common themes that you had as an entrepreneur and as a business person, and as a strategist, all of those things. Would you say, you know, for those who might be looking at your breadth of career, that some of the things that are probably the commonalities for you were really keen, you were able to see a problem, solve a problem, or identify opportunities in a different way? Like what made you so successful as an entrepreneur? Because there are a lot of people who really try, but there seems to be a formula or something that you've had. So what would you say your success, you know, as you're thinking back?
Okay, yeah, I got to think back, because how I thought then is not how I think now, and how I thought then, I wish I had the knowledge that I have now, because I know how much more successful I would have been, and also the access which I'm going to end up definitely want to people and entrepreneurs today have as advantages that I did not have 40 years ago, such as the internet or email or social media marketing. You know, these things didn't exist. And I wish they did in many of the endeavors I had, because I would have been hugely successful. I mean, I would have made, instead of businesses that made $1 million and millions of dollars, I would have made hundreds of millions of dollars. But the task of getting something started was so difficult decades ago. Just even when you look at accessing information, where I can remember writing a business plan and going to the library, having to spend 4 or 5 days, 6-7 hours a day to get just basic information to put into a written business plan, where today I could sit in front of a computer and get all of the answers in 10 minutes on Google. All right. So, but to directly answer your question, I think that it has to do with, you know, looking at, you know, opportunity. And, like you asked about, filling a void, and anybody who's in business that's successful will tell you, and as a first rule of business, find something that's missing, find something, a need that people have that you think you can fulfill, and you'll be successful. Now, of course, if you go to business school, they're going to tell you a whole lot of other things that go with that. Who else is in the business? What's the competition like? How much starter capital do you need to get started, to make a difference? So it's a lot more than just filling a need, because I could say there's a need for anything that I can go out and fill it, But just touching on the things that I did after I was inspired by that first experience, it wasn't until many years later that I began to look at something else. And the very early starts of my entrepreneurial career were in the entertainment area. So my next experience, though it wasn't just me, was I befriended in my building. I'm meeting all these new kids, and about a couple of weeks later, I'm in that park, the same park, and at that time we used to play with toy guns. No, I'm glad kids don't do that anymore. But back in that era, you played, if you had a gun, you played like cowboys and Indians. You believed that you were a cowboy, someone else played the Indians, or you played army soldier.
Yeah.
So I had a gun, this like a machine gun, and we were playing, and there was this other boy, he had his machine gun, and we were playing. So kids agreed, oh, let me hold yours, let me see yours. And I ended up doing something where I kind of broke his. So he's with his older sister. They had just moved into the building too. And I didn't know where they lived, but we lived in the same building. And we get into an argument, and next thing we're fighting, but his sister was edging him on. Oh, well, he broke your gun. So we get the fighting. And in this nice new community with all these beautiful new buildings, Delano Village, they had like security to keep the kids in the tenements, because you could just walk into the different complex outside. It was only for people who lived in the community. There were gates around it, but nobody stopped you coming in the gate. But the kids who lived across the street wanted to come into the park, so they wouldn't see these kids. No, this is for the tenants that live in the community. So one of the guys most of them were retired police officers, or they were World War II veterans, nice older men. They saw us fighting and they ran to the park. So this is a different era. This is the 1960s. So they grab us and they shaking us. Where do y'all live? And it was so weird because we both point to the same building. Okay. So they grab us and they ask, well, you're going upstairs. So they want to get us away from all the other kids, because, kids make a circle around you to fight. And they drag us in the lobby. I mean, they're literally one by the collar, one by the arm. And the first stop is to my house, me and this other kid. Miss Roebuck, your son was downstairs. This would never happen in 23. And my mother is, what? Oh my God. So my mother is blasting me out in the doorway. But she says, as parents of the day, you go downstairs to this young man's house and you apologize to him and blah, 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 and his parents. Wow. So my mother said, wait a minute. She got dressed. She had women used to wear house coats. My mother was a homemaker. We go downstairs, and the people, we get to his house. I lived on the 17th floor. He was on the 8th floor. And we ring the doorbell, and he lived with the mother, the father, and the grandmother. So they all come to the door. They were from the South. And what happened? So they're ready to take him in and beat him, because, the security people are bringing him. And so they invite my mother and me into the house. And I'll never forget this. They tell him, shake his hand. Well, he didn't want to shake my hand. So wow. He says, you shake his hands. So then he shook my hand. I was just waiting for the delay to come back. Okay, so now what happens is he shakes my hand, right? But the moral of this story is, to this day, he became my godbrother, because he went to the old Catholic school that I went to, that he had just started at, because he lived in a different part of Harlem. and he ends up becoming a Catholic. I become his god brother, and we are we best friends to this day. As a matter of fact, he visited me. Yeah, so I mentioned that because, when you talk about different things that were impactful in life, that sequence was important because his older sister, that now becomes my friend, she was involved in the Catholic Youth Organization, which used that was important because all throughout Harlem, you had that were packed on Sundays, and all the schools were packed where you couldn't even get into a Catholic school in Harlem at the time because of all the migration of people coming from the South. And these dances, the high school kids would have these dances where different kids from Harlem would go to these dances in the church basements. Well, one of these dances, she asked my god brother and me, who's her brother, and now she's my god sister. This is a few years later. I need somebody to work in the coat room. And we're not in high school. We're just grammar school kids. And because the last time we had a dance, the students who are in high school, once everybody came in, they don't work in the coat room. They run on the dance floor. And you can't go on the dance floor. So you got to stay in the coat room. But you'll be paid, $5 or something. So we said, hey, great. We could be around all these high school girls. So we go, and I experienced seeing several hundred high school kids pay money to come into this party at this church basement. I hear all this music by Smokey Robinson and the Temptations and Diana Ross. I see the teenagers dancing, and I'm just fascinated. And this is in the era where there were Victrolas, where on the stage in the auditorium, they would put a 45 on the turntable, and they would put the microphone over the PA system by the speaker on the turntable and play the record, and the kids would dance. And, it was just like, I'd never seen anything like that. But what really got me excited was at the end of the night, because I'm there with her. So all of the students on the committee, they start counting up all the money, and they're excited. And they're like, wow, we grow $600. This is like thousands back in the 60s. And the coat room made this, and we made this off the sodas. And I'm like, wow, they are rich. I'm like, wow, they get to keep all this money. So on the way home, she said, no, it goes to this. But I'm like, what if I did this and I could keep all this money? I'll be rich.
That's right.
So that inspired me. I said, when I get to high school, I'm going to do a dance or a party, but I'm not doing it for no organization. I'm going to do it for myself because I want to be rich, because I'm this little 7th grade kid or whatever. So this is so now when I get to high school, I go to Catholic high school. I had to wait till my sophomore year, and I get involved in the same committee to learn the intricacies of doing these parties, these dances. I was only involved for a year because the high school I went to, and what we used to do then, as I went to all boys high school, so we worked with other all boys high schools. One was Powell Memorial. That's where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went to high school. He was named Alcinda back in the day. And we worked with girls' high schools to get them to come to our high school, to our high school dance. But it really prepared me. And though marketing today is totally different, how to make a flyer, how to go around to the schools and give out flyers, how to talk to people, be it a band that we were going to hire, all the things that I needed to know, which helped me throughout my career in marketing. And people would say to me, well, weren't you scared to go talk to this person? How did you approach this person? Well, I learned that in those early years when my assignment with my high school was to organize everything for our high school dance. Now, we didn't necessarily need security, but I had to hire the band. I had to, make sure that we had students on the front door, students in the coat room, that we had students selling the sodas. I was in charge of putting everything together. And I guess those leadership skills, those organizational skills gave me a lot of confidence so that as I developed my checklist and, I made sure everybody was on their post. It was almost like not only being in the military, but I would say delegating responsibilities to other people. Yeah. So when I get to I did this for a year, and then I didn't do anything in my junior year. When I get to my senior year, now I'm going to fulfill my dream, which is to do my own dance, my own party. So I go and I rent, which I couldn't do it myself, a church basement in Lower Manhattan, which is St. Paul's Church. They have a huge basement that holds like 1,500 people. And unfortunately, when they agreed to rent me the place, but there was one problem. I wasn't 18. I couldn't sign a contract. So I had an older brother, was a police officer. I convinced him. We go down there to the church rectory, and he says, "Oh, I went to Cardinal Hayes High School," and he shows his, "Oh, you're a police officer? Yours older? Oh, of course, here's the contract." So my brother signs it. Still to this day, I have the tickets that I made up. The name of my party was going to be called, remember Sly and the Family Stone? There was a song they had out, was very popular that year. It's called A Family Affair. And my party was going to be called It's a Family Affair. And I had the tickets printed, and I'm about to go to my school and start selling them, giving it to friends to sell to their friends. And my father, because of my brother mentioned it, got wind of it. So my father calls a family meeting with me and my brother, and he says, "You can't do this. You're not 18. I don't want nothing to happen because some of your friends may go down there. What if something happens? It's going to give the family a bad name." My father was involved in the Catholic Church in a big way. I don't want to get off on that, but he did things with Dr. King, raising money for Dr. King. Wow. Because my father got the Catholic Church involved in the civil rights movement. And he was like, "No. So when you get 18, you can do something on your own." And he lashed out at my brother a little bit because, "Oh, you should know better. He's not of age." And I was pissed at my father. But what could I do? I'm living in this house. So that was the end of my entrepreneurial dream for my senior year in high school. But at this time, what I did with my girlfriend, there started to be parties around New York City at, you wouldn't call them clubs, but different places that were like a club. And I started going, and it kept me inspired. So when I became a freshman in college, after I did make my 18th birthday, there was a club in New York City called La Martinique. And this is pre-disco. There wasn't called discos then, it was just parties. And I went down there and I talked to the owner, and they looked at me and they said, "Well, you're kind of young." I said, "Well, I'm 18. I can sign a contract. And I want to do a party for college kids," because I had just started college. Now I'm a freshman. And they said, "Okay, but our place is open on the weekend, so we don't rent." I said, "Well, I want to do something the day before a holiday." And they're like, "Well, who's going to come on a weekday to a party?" And I said, "Well, this is only for college kids. And it's election day the next day. There's no school. And also that Monday is Black Solidarity Day." So they're like, "What is Black Solidarity Day?" I said, "Well, it's the day where Black people celebrate. This used to be big in the 70s, our culture, and some people don't go to work, etc." They didn't think I'd be successful. I signed the contract, and I go print up my flyers. My father is supportive of me now. He helps me with certain things. And then I go back to my campus, the City College campus. I start distributing flyers. I didn't sell tickets. And back in that area, you'd have to print up a flyer. And I go to all the organizations on the campus, the girls who were in the Black nursing organization, the Black studies group, to all the guys on the basketball team who were predominantly Black, to the Black and all the fraternities. And I would just get, "Oh, give me that." And so I just use all this promotion. Then I had friends in high school that went to different colleges in the city. So I had friends that went to Hunter College, Baruch, Man, so I would call them on the phone. Hey, I haven't talked to you since, high school. How's Hunter? How's your college? Oh, it's good. Well, I'm doing this party. Oh, you are? Well, come down and meet me in the lounge at Hunter at around 12 o'clock and bring a bunch of flyers and I'll give them out for you. And you can meet all of my friends that I've met at this college. So I would go to the different colleges when I didn't have class on a particular day. And I even had to print up more flyers. I must have given out thousands of flyers. So now it's the first night of my party. I don't know what's going to happen. All the butterflies come back to me of when I first was an entrepreneur, age 11. And I remember telling my brother, and this is weird, this may seem strange, the club opened at 8 p.m. and closed at 2 o'clock, which is weird for New York because years later, clubs didn't open till like 10 or 11 and they closed at 4 or 5, and nobody came out until midnight. But back in those days, parties started early. And I told my brother, well, it's going to start at 8, but make sure you're at least there by maybe 7:30, no later than 8:15. So I get down to the club, and it was a downstairs on 57th Street, mid-Manhattan. And I remember my sister was in the box office, and the owner comes to me and he says, come upstairs. And when I go upstairs, there's a line down the block.
Wow.
And what was amazing is that it's only like 8:15 and my brother's not even there. So now people are coming in, it's going on 9 o'clock. And I remember one of my friends from school who had said to me that day, I don't think it's going to be that packed. You gave out a lot of flyers, but I don't hear a lot of people on campus talking about it. So he's online waiting to get in. And then he gets downstairs and he goes, I can't believe all these people here. Oh man, look at the girls, look at this. So they actually, by about 9:20, they had to close the doors. There's no more room. Nobody else.
Wow.
So one of we call them bouncers, he comes down the stairs, he asks for my sister. He says, excuse me, there's a guy upstairs. He says he's your brother and he's your brother's brother. He's supposed to be working here tonight. And it was my brother, the police officer, with another one of his friends. Couldn't even get in. So then he comes down the stairs. He's like, oh my God, you did it. You pulled it off, So, that was, a great success. So when I talk about circling back to that first experience as a young person, here's what transpires for me. So now I love doing this party. It was a success. Even later that night, people from my campus, City College, wow, this was a great party. There's people I didn't know that went to Hunter College or Brooklyn College that, they were coming in and they're seeing me, oh man, when's your next party? When's your next party? But when I went back to my campus that Wednesday, City College is a big campus. It goes over, I would say, 15 city blocks. And sometimes I had a course at one end of the campus. I'd have to walk to the other end of the campus. So you're talking about maybe a 10-minute walk and then in between classes. And I can remember that day walking from one end of the campus to another and just being stopped by students. Oh man, I was at your party. That was great. When is the next one? I can remember people coming up to me and saying, oh, you're the guy that gave that party. I heard it was great. Oh man, be sure that you give me a flyer next time. I'm not going to throw it in the garbage.
Wow.
But what that told me, I didn't read a book on marketing. I wasn't in business classes, was I had to identify myself now. How do I go from just making up a flyer and giving it out to creating an identity? And the only thing I could think of was my name.
That's right.
Jerry. I'll be Jerry Productions. And that's what I created. So now when I do my second flyer, I put on the flyer, Jerry Productions Presents. So now when I give my second party, because first one was in November, the next party that I gave was it was the end of semester going into the Presents. So now as I'm giving a flyer out, come to my next party, Jerry Productions. And then they would start to tell people on the campus or on the other oh, this is the party, man. This is Jerry Productions. So as I'm hearing this, I said, okay, I'm going to make sure at the party that when people come in, somebody might say, welcome to Jerry Productions. People used to smoke cigarettes then. So I made up matches that when people came in, I had them on the tables, and the matches, when you opened it up, it said Jerry Productions. I had business cards made that said Jerry Productions. At certain times in the party, the guy would get on the microphone. This is before rap music. And he would say, you're at a Jerry Productions. And at the end of the night, when people were online, got thing to say over and over again, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to a Jerry Productions, or you partied with Jerry Productions tonight.
Yeah.
And so the next thing was, I said, I have to, when I do, let people know that here, when is the next, when I have something in the future, which was going to be now in the spring semester, I'm going to have my next party ready, so that night I'm giving them a flyer and say, hey, here's the next one. Take it home, put it on your wall, which people used to put it on their wall or wherever, their bulletin board, and share it with people. And then also with that, by that second party, back then, this is going to seem really strange, we used to have what's called a mailing list. So people would come in, I'd have a card, and they would put down their physical address. Nobody would do that nowadays, but they put their name, their address, apartment, zip code, and I collect the cards. At the end of the night, I would have a student do that. And then when my next party came, I would write out the addresses, me and my girlfriend, and we put 2 flyers in it, and we'd mail it.
That's a mailing list, right?
Yeah, snail mail.
Mailing list. So
Yeah.
can I ask you, Jerry, I'm being mindful of the time, because I could talk to you for 4 hours straight, but I want to ask you, so how did you get to the Black Expo? So I was thinking about the from going from a family affair to
Right.
the Black Expo, and even creating that basically environment where businesses could show up in a different way that didn't exist before Black Business Olympics or any of those forums. Can you give me a couple of minutes talking about the Black Expo and what that was like?
Sure. And I'm sorry, I'm not conscious of the time. I'm kind of long-winded, but I'm glad I did touch on these things, because
yes.
I talk about the marketing,
yes.
inspiration, what it was like back in those days, which are the things we preceded about. So I've kind of covered that.
Yeah.
Learning that experience of doing the parties. Then I met Russell Simmons in college. He was younger than me. We did some parties together. That was the evolution, the beginning of rap or hip hop music, with Curtis Blow, also went to City College with us. Grandmaster Flash, who we took out of the Bronx, there was no Grandmaster Flash in the Furious Five. He was just Grandmaster. He was a DJ. And also you probably heard of Kid Capri. I took him out of the Bronx. So we were doing a different evolution of parties post-disco, because disco came a few years after I started my parties. And then we were starting rap in the early, let's say late 70s, early 80s, right?
Yeah.
So from that, I had now begun to interact with a lot of Black businesses in Harlem and my Black community in New York City. Printers, graphic designers, people who did commercials, people who made items and clothing, people that did marketing. And many of the times I interacted with these business people in New York City, as big as it is. And because New York City, as you know, is a very expensive place to do anything, they, for example, would say to me, wow, I wish I could market or advertise my business the way you promote your parties or things that you do, but I can't afford radio time. I can't afford to promote what I'm doing because radio is too expensive. I can't afford TV. I just need to get my business in front of people. And I kept hearing this over and over and over again from many of the people I did business with. And I said to myself one day, wait a minute, if in front of
There you
if
are.
if I could find a way to put them in front of thousands of people, I didn't know eventually it'd be tens of thousands in front of a
Right.
few
13 cities though, right?
actually 16. Yeah, it was
16.
well, the most I did was 16 in 1 year, but I did it in a total of 20 cities throughout the United States throughout the length of the expo. So if I said I can put these businesses in front of people, then I'm accomplishing something for myself in it. So my entrepreneurial brain goes off. How could I make money? Or it's the checklist. How do I make money? Where is this going to be? Can it be profitable? What other partners can I bring in? How do I make this happen? Has anybody ever done this before? Were they successful? What it was a failure? So I go through all of the study of all of this, and I find a venue. By luck, one day I'm downtown. I ran into a guy that worked at a radio station that I helped market that radio station when they switched from being a rock station to a black station. And they just called me one day. This is just a quick story. And they said, we're changing our format from rock to playing black music. And we hear your commercials on WBLS with Frankie Crocker, the black station. Would you come down and talk to us, and we can maybe help you with some ads and give you some free commercials?
Wow.
We want to know more about the black market. So I went down there, and this is the same guy that calls me. And just quickly, when I was doing these parties, I had a new hotel I was going to do a party at. I didn't know the name of it. I said, in marketing, I can't just say I'm doing a party at a hotel ballroom. Right. I can name the ballroom something. I named it the Sesame. And the program director comes in. It's going to be the first party. And he says, that's a great idea. He said, Kool and the Gang has this new record. And it starts out Open Sesame.
Wow.
We'll create a commercial. And at the beginning of the commercial, since you're going to open this new club in the hotel, and it'll say Open Sesame. So now the commercial comes on. Jerry Productions presents the new club in Times Square in New York City, the Sesame. And then the Kool and the Gang record came on. Why, 2 or 3 days later, I'm walking around campus. Everybody's running up to me. Oh, I heard this commercial on the radio. So that helped me create the relationship with my first radio station I work with. Anyway, this is years later. I bump into this guy on the street, the same guy. And I says, wow, it's funny I would bump into you. I had this idea about doing this expo thing to help black businesses and blah, blah, blah. And here's my idea. And the same way I helped him, he says, I like that idea. Come down to the station tomorrow. We got a new general manager. Why don't you pitch him on your idea and let's do it? I go to the station. I pitch the general manager. This is a year before the first expo. And he says, we're behind you 100%. We'll blow this thing out in New York City. We'll go all over the radio. And that was the first expo. Now, that was in 1988, but we didn't do the event till 1989. And it was a huge success. And once again, the pitfalls the night before I sold all the booth space out, but I don't know if people are going to come because people in New York City, they didn't know anything about no Black Expo, but I got a big audience to draw from. And I wake up that April morning, it's April 11th, and I look out of my window and it's snowing in April.
Wow.
And I was like, oh no, of all days, it's going to be a failure. It's snowing in April. Nobody's going to come now. So I go down to the venue. Luckily, by, I would say, 10, 11 o'clock, it stopped snowing, so it was a dust day. But still, the snow in April is bad. But people came out, and that Sunday was sunny, it was beautiful, and it was jam-packed. And I had the same experience with the expo that I did with parties. At the end of the expo, the exhibitors were coming up to me. Oh, this is great. When is it next year? Oh, well, I heard about this expo. I'm from Philadelphia. You need to bring this to Philadelphia. Oh, I called my cousin on the phone, and he has a business in Atlanta, and I was telling him about this thing. You should do this in Atlanta. So all of that inspired me. And of course, the way my brain worked, I would say within 48 hours, after I rested, I was like, I could actually do this in other places. And 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to Atlanta to meet with some people I knew there to plan on taking it to Atlanta. One of the people who worked at the radio station at the time in New York, who was the promotions guy, he was recruited to go to a station in Philadelphia. So he called me and said, hey, I'm not at KISS anymore. I'm at Power 99 in Philadelphia. I want to set up a meeting for you to come down here to set it up. Then I knew some people at DC, and they said, oh man, I heard that you did this expo in New York. I know the guy that just bought the radio station here in DC, and he's actually from New York. I can set up a meeting with him if you want to come down to DC. And so that's how I went from one city to 4 in 1990. So the second year I did New York, Philadelphia, Washington, and Atlanta.
Wow. I'm mindful of the time, and I don't want us to get kicked off before I ask you this question. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs and small, medium business, large business. We have a lot of folks who are watching and definitely learning. I think this is a masterclass in just being a business owner and kind of following your vision and executing on it. And I wonder if you had any encouragement for those who are maybe they're new to business. But just any encouragement or motivation or a word of advice that you'd be willing to share with us.
Sure. Well, in terms of, advice and motivation, first of all, you could read a book, but there's nothing like experience. There's nothing like taking the dare. So if you want to do something as an entrepreneur, I would say, number one, get your feet wet, but do it on a small scale. Have a backup plan, and just go for it. If you make a mistake, it's okay. People learn by their mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with falling down as long as you get back up. And, as anybody starting a business, whether you read a book or you just heard it, most businesses within a 5-year period, they fail. It's over 90+%. But it doesn't mean that your idea wasn't a good idea. It doesn't mean that you should give up on being an entrepreneur. So whether you have a job or you go back to working on a job, you can do your business at night. You could do it on the weekends. No matter what it is that you want to do, get your feet wet, jump in. There's nothing wrong. I've done a lot of things in my business career. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I've had to shut businesses down. But because I took the opportunity that was presented to me, I was successful. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if I'm getting here in closing. Excuse me.
Oh no, I've just checked. We have time. Keep it coming.
So, I went from doing parties, promotions, Black Expo. I had one of the first Black credit card companies, the Black Expo credit card with Key Bank. I had my own decorating company where I was doing my own shows and did a few other shows at convention centers for some other organizations. I was involved in the apparel business, doing uniforms for schools. I did, as you mentioned, some marketing for PBS. Well, actually, it was Tony Brown's Journal TV show. So Tony Brown did the expo for me around the country. He was one of my speakers, along with Dick Gregory and many other people. And oddly enough, during my peak years at Black Expo, I could not help him directly because though Black Expo was originally sponsored by Pepsi, I switched to Coca-Cola. And Tony's Brown's Journal was sponsored by Pepsi.
Yeah.
So he could do the expo, we could be friends, but we kind of couldn't do business together. But eventually, he did ask me to help him once his relationship with Pepsi was winding down. And I was able to successfully keep his show on the air and take him from having just one underwriter, which was Pepsi, to having ONDCP, which is the National Office of Drug Control Policy out of the White House, as an underwriter, Walmart, Toyota, and get him 3 sponsors of his TV show, which helped him upgrade Tony Brown's Journal TV show and keep his show on the air for a very long period of time. So I'm very proud of that. Now, the other thing I just want to mention, which is key to entrepreneurism, and I'm not going to say that these are failures, but these were shortcomings that I had of myself. And I did talk earlier about what I know now as opposed to what I wish I would have known 30 years ago, 25 years ago. And these are missed opportunities.
Okay.
Being in the seat at Black Expo, fortunately, but yet unfortunately, there were opportunities that came my way that I should have taken advantage of. But of course, I'm trying to run Expo in all these different cities. I had my office, I moved to Atlanta. I had my office there 4 blocks from Coca-Cola. I still had an office in New York where I started my decorating company. I had a warehouse and an office there. So I had a lot going on. I had a lot of employees. I'm producing 16 events at the same time, trying to get my credit card company off of the ground. I told you I started my decorating company. Then I started doing festivals in the Bahamas. So I'm doing events in another country.
Wow.
So, and for example, my first event in the Bahamas, I'm going to tell you what my lineup was. Imagine doing a show like this. I had Frankie Beverly and Mays, Cool in the Game, the Ohio Players, Bobby Humphrey,
wow,
Kurt Franklin, Steve Harvey is the host, along with Jonathan Butler and I'm forgetting her name. There was one other artist that I had. So I'm doing things like that on a big scale as well. And then I'm involved with Kurt Franklin because I launched his career. There's a lot of other things that I was doing, helping people and helping other entrepreneurs be successful. But as an example, an opportunity came to me to buy, I don't know if you remember a magazine called Emerge magazine.
I do, yes.
Yes. So Emerge was started by a business, a Black entrepreneur, and his partner at the time that was a wealthy doctor. And they weren't being successful. They weren't making money. A guy who ended up being my sales manager worked for Emerge. So Bob Johnson from BET, when Emerge is not making money, they're running out of money. Time Warner gets involved for a minute, but Time Warner is losing money. So Bob Johnson buys it. And when he buys it, he's going to move the magazine to DC. So this individual who is my friend, he was exhibiting at Black Expo. He says, I'm not going to move to no DC, because I live in. So I said, well, come work for me. Bob Johnson buys the magazine, but after a year and a half, he's focused on BET. I get a call one day. They sent me a spec. They said, would you like to buy Emerge magazine? So I said, okay, send me the information. Now I got the information, but the timing was bad because I was getting ready to move to Atlanta with my business. I had the package. I'm looking over the financials, and I called this investment bank at the time. And I said, well, I'm a little interested. And what's making it inspire me to maybe do this is because the guy who works for me was doing sales for Emerge magazine. So I think I could make this work. But they wanted $600,000 for the magazine. This is in 1992, early 1993. And I said, well, it's a little bit too much. And they said, don't worry about the money. We'll get the financing for you. But the guy who was my friend, who was the sales manager for me at the time, who before had worked at Emerge, says, oh, don't do it. We got to focus on moving to Atlanta and then this magazine. And I don't know. And I don't want to do magazine stuff anymore. And I let him talk me out of it. Oh. And I regret that to this day for two reasons. Number one, I think I could have made Emerge successful, even though today it wouldn't exist because you know what happened to magazines.
Yeah.
But yeah. Black Expo, I could have put Black Expo out there more. I could have marketed Emerge magazine at my expos. I could have signed up subscribers at my expos. I could have brought in some of my expo sponsors as new advertisers, and I could have probably made it profitable and made a different imprint for what I was doing at that time. But more importantly, I would have established relationship with investment bankers once I saw that I could turn this magazine around, make it profitable, make it more of a household name with the experience that I had in marketing and promotion, and I would have created relationships with them. So
Jerry, what are some of the other companies that came out of Expo? And I heard like all those names of careers that you started and folks that you helped. I hope everybody's heard it like I heard it. All the names that have been dropped. of really very, very successful leaders all in their own right. But what are some of the other companies that we might be familiar with that came out of the expo?
Sure, if everybody knows Damon John now from Shark Tank. Damon first exhibited with us in one of the first exposures to Fubu. Before there was Fubu even a company, he and his friends were sewing things with his mom at their house, doing skull caps and little things, sewing Fubu on it. And they came to our show in Atlanta, and they made up some things and they sold them. Though they were from Queens, they knew about the New York Expo, so they traveled to Atlanta. They almost sold out of everything they had, and it really inspired them. And they did some of the expos. So, I mean, he said on many interviews many years ago that, you know, Black Expo inspired them to keep striving, that helped inspire Fubu to become what Fubu was. Cross Colors Clothing, which started the urban clothing trend. So out of Cross Colors, you got Sean John, you got Fat Farm, you got Rockaway. Cross Colors started with us, and then the whole urban clothing trend, which doesn't exist anymore, came out of being inspired by what by what Cross Colors was doing at Black Expo. Then Cross Colors underwrote another company called give me a second. I just had his name. Carl Kanai.
Oh,
yeah, Carl Kanai, and he called us around. Then we had Glory Foods.
Yes.
You know, there were just
super successful Glory Foods, by the way. Let's just pause for a second. It's not, you know, like a lot of these brands that you're talking about are very, very, go to your local supermarket, you can find Glory Foods, Foods. Yeah.
And they started exhibiting with us with just doing greens, and they would, you know, with the greens at the show, and people would taste, etc. But you know, they came out of Black Expo. So, you know, I could think of household names, and I could think of businesses that are still around 30 years later, though they're not household names to people. But, you know, like the Bronner brothers, who have been around before that, they started Upscale magazine. Once again, magazines aren't around too much anymore, but they started Upscale through Black Expo. So there were so many people, and some that are local, that are still around to this day, that started with us in their own particular market, you know, through Black Expo. I mean, I could think of people, you know, Jada Pickett, you know, she had an idea back in LA. She exhibited with us. Ice Cube, of course, who's around. He was doing things with us back in the day. I mean, people who went on, they did other things, but as an entrepreneur, I wouldn't say Jada, even though she is an entrepreneur to this day.
Yes,
still.
she is, yeah.
These are people, before Jada was a successful actress, she had done some things. She was exhibiting at the expo in LA. Ice Cube was exhibiting at the expo in LA. You know, so I could think of people in all walks of life, acting, music. For example, a model, Tyson Beckford. Tyson Beckford did an interview, I believe it was in GQ magazine, and people came and pointed this out. I couldn't believe it. They said, read this article. This guy Tyson Beckford is talking about Black Expo. Now, at the time, he was successful as a model, but not big like he is today. Like if you say that, you wouldn't know who he was, because I didn't know who he was, because I didn't follow who's on a runway or whatever. And he talked about, in this interview, they asked him, well, how did you become a model? What inspired you? And he said, you know, I had a down period in my life. I was going through a bad depression. And one day I was walking around downtown and I saw all these Black people walking in the same direction. And I'm like, where are they going? And this is New York City, the Expo's at Javits Center. The subway train is emptying out. There's tens of thousands of people walking across the west side of Manhattan towards the river where the Javits Convention Center was. And he just started following all the Black people. He didn't know where they were going. And eventually he learns they're going to Black Expo. So he gets online, he goes in, and when he walks in, he says in this interview, he's blown away. He sees all these Black people with a business and all the networking and people buying stuff, and the little kids are happy, and the parents and the entertainment, and he sat in on seminars. And when he left, he said he was so inspired. He was no longer depressed. He wanted to turn his life around. He felt like that there was no excuse for him being in the position where he was, that he saw people that looked like him that were living their dreams.
Wow.
And that made him go out and work to become a successful model. So when I read that article, I was like, wow, I'm really having an impact with people, and it would inspire me, because though people, it's one thing somebody comes up and says, oh, thank you, your business doing good. But when you read something in print, especially in a white publication, and of course, as we know, Tyson Beckford went on to be one of the most successful black male models. I would say, point blank, the most successful black male model in the history of modeling. And when you look at what he's done with Polo Ralph Lauren, which he still models
He's
for.
still modeling. Yeah, he's still active.
And he knocked that door open. If any of you, and I wear a lot of Ralph Lauren clothing, I really support Ralph Lauren because he's done a lot for our community. Matter of fact, I first started having prostate exams in Harlem with a center that he established in Harlem for black men, which he funded because there's a lack of black men. So we don't get prostate cancer. He's done a lot in our community that people do not know about.
Can I ask you about the Black
So
Spirit group?
yeah, and
Jerry,
Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, can I ask you about Black Spirit Group?
Yeah.
You can touch on that.
Yeah, well, Black Spirit Group is a new nonprofit. People can go to blackspiritgroup.com and learn about it. And what it is a group of retired businessmen. I'm retired, but I'm a serial entrepreneur. So if something strikes my mind, I may pick up I wouldn't say briefcase, my laptop, I guess, and try to make something happen. But number one, we want to mentor young entrepreneurs with the limited time that we have. I don't mean just on this earth, but the hours that we may have in a month to give advice, maybe try to show them the pitfalls of things that we did, that they don't repeat those mistakes so that they could be successful, and use the things that are available to them today that we didn't have, as I said before, 20 or 30 years ago. So that's one of the things that Black Spirit Group is about. But more importantly, unfortunately, for this time in our history as Black people and as Black business people, there are more opportunities, but we're under assault.
Yeah.
And there has to be something or organization to fight back, push back. So this is what I'm hoping to create the Black Spirit Group to be able to do. One of the things we're trying to do is get Goldman Sachs to create an initiative to help Black men who are in business, the way they created the $10 billion, $100 million initiative for Black women. So we're fighting for equity there and lobbying Goldman Sachs to create something like that. I feel that at this particular time, as I mentioned in our history, you're seeing individuals like Howard Bloom, who, and I predicted this on my YouTube podcast, that not only will we lose the fight for affirmative action in education, which we know the Supreme Court recently ruled that affirmative action is illegal, that they were going to come for other things. They're going to come for contracts. They're going to come for equity when it comes to participation in business or anything else. And we're now seeing that come to fruition. We're just after this ruling, which just took place a few months ago. It's actually less than a little over 90 days.
Yeah.
We're now seeing that Howard Bloom has sent letters to law firms saying that they need to get rid of any programs, internships or the like that help, whether you're a Black student, they're giving you a fellowship if you're in law school, or they're doing any recruitment, whether it's at an HBCU, or they just, are some way participating, let's say in the Urban League job fair. We know that Stephen Miller, who worked for the former president, has sent out letters to colleges saying, if we see you using any efforts to recruit Black students, we're going to sue you. Yeah. We know that they're already doing. Stephen Miller has gone up against the federal government trying to help Black farmers. Well, the next big wave is going to be anything that the government does, a business does to help a Black business. I'm predicting this.
Yeah.
Miller's group has went at the Kellogg, Stephen Miller's group has sent letters to Kellogg's because they have a program to recruit Black chefs to help create things for their product line. So anything that helps Black business people, Black students, other than if you want to go into the military and you want to die for this country, then, oh, that's okay. We'll recruit young Black men to go off to war, as I was, when I was growing up during the Vietnam War. Or, yes, we'll create opportunities for Black men to recruit them or students to go to West Point or to a military academy. Oh, we can have that. But anything else, no.
Yeah, not in business.
Not in business. And the bigger danger is, if I tried to start Black Expo today, I would be sued.
Yes.
Coca-Cola would be sued for sponsoring. How can you sponsor something? It's Black and it says Expo. The governor of Florida would probably sue me if I tried to do Expo in Florida, which in the past I did in Jacksonville, Florida, Miami, Florida, and Fort Lauderdale. They would say that it's a discriminatory event. They would write letters to the company, the corporations that are participating, and threaten them, as he did when the American Hockey League was having a trade show, and they were setting up saying, we want to recruit Blacks to be more involved in hockey, to watch it. We're trying to hire Black people to do marketing. The teams need to have Black people working in their front offices. Well, the governor of the state of Florida wrote them letters and said, if you bring this to the state of Florida, when you have your All-Star game, that we may file a lawsuit against you. That's discriminatory. Yeah. So this is where the country is going. And I'm hoping that Black Spirit, once I can raise some money and do something, we can be an arm to push back and fight against those things. Because unfortunately, I'm just going to speak frankly here. Yeah. The Urban League, the NAACP is not going to do it. Unfortunately, Reverend Jackson, who used to take on some of these things, and I worked with his Operation Push back in the day, and because of Jesse Jackson, I was able to get money for Tony Brown's Journal. I was able to get money for Black promoters, and we got the Budweiser Superfest. We know Reverend Jackson is not in good health, and he can't fight anymore. Al Sharpton is focused on other things. We don't have anybody out there pushing back. You don't hear anything.
No, we don't. Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping Black Spirit can do, because we are going to be in a lot of trouble. Thank God Joe Biden is trying to do what he is doing with the Build Back Better bill. Trillions of dollars going into infrastructure over the next 10 years. And within those bills, the money goes to the states, the contractors. They have to hire a certain number of minority contractors, new contractors, and they have to have minority employees on the job. But, I hope Joe Biden wins the next election, but I guarantee you that if the Republicans get back in office,
it's going to be gone.
It's all that stuff with executive order. They're going to sign that away. So we really need to be in a position to push back against these things, because we Black people, again, in our history, have a new target on our back. It's very dangerous.
Is there a particular type of business that will qualify for Black Spirit Group?
No, it's open to anybody. I don't care what, even if you don't have a business, you have an idea that you want to start a business. And one of the things I said that I hope to be able to do, if I can build this into an organization, is by being a member. Let's say if we make the membership $10 or $15 a year, you don't have to have a business, but by making that donation, once we set up to accept donations and you become a member, you can whether go online and look at the newsletter to find Black businesses in your community. That $15 a year, you don't own the business, but you're supporting Black businesses by helping us.
Oh, got it. Yeah. What
we're doing. Because if we can raise enough money or find attorneys to fight and file lawsuits against some of these individuals, it's going to take money. And hopefully we'll get some wealthy Black individuals to support this, because the way I'm not an attorney, but to me, the Stephen Millers, the Michael Blooms of the world. And then remember, these people have wealthy billionaires giving them money. Stephen Miller has 3 different law firms backing him up with these lawsuits. And Michael Bloom, the same thing. He has a group of law firms, not a lawyer, law firms that help him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I think it can be proven through discovery, but it's outright anyway, that these individuals have on the back of one group of people. That's us as Black people. The same way they're picking out Asians, and the same way that they are selecting Asians as a model to use against us, we know that they are specifically choosing us based on our race. So that in itself is discrimination. How can you pick a group of people and say, I'm going to tear apart, whether you say it's an advantage or not, everything against them? You're coming after a specific group of people based on color, not a class, not a gender, not a religious group. You're attacking us based on our color. And I think all Black people are defendants and should benefit from any damages that we get, because whether it's in education, business, job opportunities, we are being hurt. Your children, future generations are being hurt because you're singling out a group of people based on their color to impede
repeat the bad behavior.
Right. So in other words,
I hate to cut in, but we're definitely going to have to bring you back, because like I said, I feel like this has been such an honor, first of all, just to get your perspective on your journey, your history. There are a lot of us who have been impacted one way or the other. As I was thinking about Black Expo, I was one of those people in Philly back in the day who, yeah. So for me, it just came to me like, wow, this is actually that Jerry. So I'm so honored, and we're so grateful for everything that you've done for our communities. We're all benefiting, including the Black Business Network. Because like I said, without Black Expo, none of us would be here. So I definitely honor your time and honor your service and everything that you've done for us. And I definitely want to hear more. Y'all, please check out the blackspiritgroup.com site so you can learn more about that program. And with that, I think I'm passing it to Dr. Kelly. But I just want to make sure I give you a quick thank you so much for this historical interview and a conversation and sharing everything with us.
Yeah, Shelly, please, thank you so much. Invite me back, because knowing that you're from Philly, I want to touch on those stories about things I had an opportunity to do that I didn't, that I passed on.
Yes.
Touch on it. And one of the things I had an opportunity to do, which unfortunately I messed up, was to purchase and buy a WDAS radio station. The owner, Gene Jackson, came to me in Atlanta and said I'd be a good steward. He was selling the radio station and offered me a chance to buy it for $20 million. I didn't, and 2 years later it sold for $60 million. The next year it sold for $100 million. So you talk about being upset, but that's a whole nother story. I had an opportunity to build a hotel in Miami Beach because the city gave me the property to build the hotel, and that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I would love to share those stories, because
absolutely
need to hear missed opportunity. I could write a whole chapter in the book about missed opportunities.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jerry. And I think I'm turning over to Dr. Kelly. So we'll just pause here in the show. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please go back and watch the replay, because there's a lot of nuggets that were shared here for free. And don't forget to support the scholarship for our students.
Thank you, Shelly.
You are in the right place at the right time. The Black Business Network opens again for its Black Business Olympics, a 24/7 broadcast on business, strategies, global branding, social media marketing, finance, advertisement, and much, much more. Featuring the top, most powerful entrepreneurs and speakers and thought leaders from all around the world as they gather together for this phenomenal event. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the metaverse, STEM City, USA, Black Multiverse, Pod TV, Roku, Hulu, iHeartRadio, Apple TV, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Google Podcasts, Facebook, LinkedIn, IBM TV, Spotify, and Twitch. Tune in today and be a part of this amazing movement. The Black Business Olympics welcomes you.
I'd like you to imagine with me, if you will, opening an app where you can collaborate with like-minded individuals from around the world, get inspiration and in-app tools to launch and grow your business, as well as share your knowledge and earn compensation, all in one app. Well, the name of that app is Truso, short for Truly Social. Hi, I'm Matthew Newman, the founder and CEO of Truso. A new concept in social media, Truso is designed from the ground up to be a platform that's both social and empowering for all its users. How exactly do we do that? I'm glad you asked. First, Truso brings the world together via video. Psychologists assert that video provides a significantly more effective connection than audio only. When you enter a community on Truso, you're face to face. Second, on Truso, you don't have to have 1 million followers to monetize. Our business model allows all hosts and moderators to monetize, no matter the size of your following, by 1, producing fee-based content, and 2, inviting others to join the platform as subscribers. Even more, Truso has an in-app resource library with over 100 free resources, forms, and documents to help you build your brand and grow your business. Third, Truso is inclusive. The deaf and hard of hearing communities make up 360 million people worldwide. Unlike audio-only apps, Truso embraces this community, providing a networking platform that allows them to participate via video and closed captioning. We even have a deaf and hard of hearing foundation in the works as well. Fourth, Truso is both social and safe. We refer to Truso as a virtual extension of the beauty shop, barbershop, and brainchild of the community. A place where there's laughter, along with wisdom, growth-oriented conversation, and genuine connections in a safe space. Truso even has proprietary security to ensure we maintain a safe environment for everyone. Where are we at now? Truso is live, y'all. We've launched in beta, and we're acquiring users daily. We have an incredible development and marketing team, plus amazing celebrity influencers at the table, helping us spread the word around the globe, beginning within the African diaspora and beyond by creating a safe space for growth, connection, and collaboration. We're truly excited about Truso. We've created something special for which there is a global market. And we invite you to embark on this journey with us as a shareholder. The future for Truso is truly bright. Join us and let's go there together.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
Good morning. Welcome back. All right. So this is Shelly Jeffcoat. I'm also known as Mrs. Pie. I'm CEO of LCM Group. I am your business moderator for this morning on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, Black business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from here, here in the United States, cities all across the US, London, Singapore, Africa, and Japan. And this is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. Today, we're actually trying to raise money for scholarships. So please make sure that you visit our website so that you can participate in that way as well. And I am really excited to have this conversation. Our next guest is Jackson Crisp. He is from the NFL with the New York Jets. We're going to be talking about providing high-level project management services to elite companies. Jackson's journey has been both diverse and inspiring, and we love that. He's dedicated to impactful causes like Unsilenced Voices and the NFL alumni. Jackson merges experience with empathy in providing high-impact talks. I'm really excited. Today he's going to be sharing his insights on influential speaking. So please help me welcome Jackson Crisp.
Hey, Shelley, thank you.
How are you?
Very good. Very good. Thanks for having me on again.
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited. This conversation I think this is one of those, again, conversations. Please, if we've got parents watching, make sure you have your kids come back and catch some of this replay, because this is going to help not just business owners, but also a lot of teen entrepreneurs and younger individuals who are trying to come into business. But I definitely want to get some thoughts and ideas, and I have a lot of questions for you. So the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to understand what you're defining as influential speaking, and how do you describe that speaking style? Like, what would that be for you?
For me, it's connected, passionate, and direct with a purpose.
Ooh.
Right? And so those are all some pretty big words, but that's in terms of generally, that's it. And you have different types of audiences, you have different topics, you have different agendas in terms of who you're speaking with or for. And the one thing that's a common thread through all that's your passion, right? So that's what emotional and passionate connecting with your audience, and you won't go wrong. So over deliver on the passion and connecting with that audience, and everything else will sort of work itself out.
So this is really key. So a lot of times I meet, especially entrepreneurs, and they're really passionate, or they've stepped into like the purpose of what they want to do, right? And there's a lot of passion behind it. But in practical methods, you still have to be able to communicate your vision and connect. To your point, you have to connect with your audience, and also connecting with your clients. Quite frankly, some folks have to learn how to connect with investors, right? So you can get the business up and running. So I was thinking about influential speaking and how you frame that out. So again, it's not just business, but when you're thinking about coaching people on influential speaking, do you find that you have to define when and where you use it, and what are some of the conversations that you have with your clients around that?
Yeah, so there's what I'm going to forget this right now, but cause, there are different types of speaking. You're motivating, right? Or you're teaching, or you're speaking for a cause, right? So each types of those whatever your agenda is in terms of what you're speaking on are going to require different types of things in terms of or different types of incorporations into your speech, and calls to action in terms of what you want your audience to do or feel after that speech. Every time you talk, there should be a reason or a purpose behind that, a call to action. Now, that doesn't mean buy my program, but there should have been a purpose behind what you go out and support such and such, or do this, or so. Every time you speak, I would say that you want to sort of work towards that call to action. And so, if I was working with a client, I would talk to them about: are you trying to motivate? Are you trying to teach? Or are you speaking on a cause? are some of your main speaking points. So yeah, and each one of those are different in terms of your approach and your call to action again. And what was I going to say? Let's see. Hold on. Speaking. Oh,
It's all right, because I got 500 questions for you.
But each one of them has stories, right? You're integrating your own story as you're talking through some of these, and I could talk more about that a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to hit on that point, and like kind of pull that thread a little bit more on storytelling. And so as we're thinking about being speakers and how do we share those stories, and again connecting back to the audience, and you mentioned those 3 C's. I wanted to find out from you as you're coaching different leaders and you're coaching different clients. How do you talk them through presenting a compelling story, as a part of influential speaking? Like, how, what are some of the things that you help individuals with in that particular area? Because I think that's something that we kind of all maybe struggle with a little bit. And to your point, shifting away from just the cold marketing and sales technique into actually speaking in a way that you're influencing a change, or you're influencing ideas, or things like that. So I'd love to get your take on that. And then the other thing that I'd love to hear more about is more about the unsilenced voices that cause that you're supporting, and see if we can get some more information from you on that as well.
Okay, can you what was the last part of that?
The last part is I want to know more about unsilenced voices. Yeah, if you could just touch on that. And then before that is the question about storytelling and how do you pull that in? Because you're so right. Like, a lot of us are either going cold selling, or we're just marketing, but it's not clear about what do you intend to get out of the conversation.
Well, remember, and I like to bring up Maya Angelou a lot. I say her saying, I sort of cut it shorter sometimes, but it's how you make people feel.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what storytelling does. We all experience the same things and all that. And so when you strike into nerves, where someone's feeling something, and you can explain it and bring it into their emotional get them into an emotional state and start talking about it, that's where you really start connecting. So storytelling is that, right? And then what you want to do is you want to have a point or bring about what you're trying to portray to your audience or educate them on within that story, right? And it's going to stick a lot harder, and the audience will remember that a lot more. So, and that's basically what speaking is that. As we move into this interview more, I'll talk about some more structural type of things in terms of what a beginning speaker can do, or what speakers do to sort of do that. But as far as my passion, unsilenced voices. Michelle Jewsbury is the founder of that and president. We met at a speaking event, right? And she told me about her mission. This was several years ago, on how they're trying to, their mission is to eradicate domestic violence and human trafficking, right? 2 huge causes. And as I got more into it, I was like, how could I not help with that? How can I help you? Right. And so I came on as a board of directors for her. She did a lot of work over in Africa, and she was starting stuff here in the United States in terms of getting her program started domestically. And so I got together with, some of the folks in the NFL alumni, and we helped kick her off here in the States. And since then, she's been rocking and rolling, just moving things, making change, making impact. And I've stepped into an advisory role with her.
Okay.
Because we've got a lot of things going on as well. So, and the cool thing is, that's part of this. That's part of speaking, right?
Yeah.
You'll network and you'll meet a lot of people. And when you can pour into someone's thing, you do that. people remember you. They bring you over to help with this cause. They help you with theirs. And so, yeah, that's sort of how I got into Unsilenced Voices as my.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think it's important because, when we talk about passion and purpose, and part of the reason that I ask these questions is because there are a lot of individuals who are going to be watching this who are coming from that same place. They have a passion and purpose. And so while we have your expertise, we're going to find out from you, how do you create that kind of, using your speech as a tool so that you can, again.
So for me, it's impact, right? So that's one aspect. But whenever I talk to any crowd or any audience, I want to change lives. I want to impact them on whatever the purpose of that speech is, or who I'm talking to, or what I'm trying to influence. We talk a lot through the NFL alumni. We talk a lot to kids and kids' parents, right? 500 to many hundreds of people sometimes.
Wow.
And you're influencing the kids, and you're also influencing the parents to try to give them the tools to be a better, not a better parent, improve their way of being a parent, because all parents do their best. So that's the purpose. Whenever I'm speaking, I want to impact and influence and change lives. And so that's sort of my goal as a speaker. And again, with the different mini audiences, and then you can sort of get technical with stuff in terms of, navigating those talks. And I have some funny stories on some ways to quickly get a talk up that you're not necessarily prepared for. And there's a lot of.
Well, let's go there. Let's follow where we're going, because I want to ask you other questions about how you adapt your style and all that. But let's follow some of the technical aspects, since we're already there, because again, we're all trying to learn from you as much as we can today. Yeah. So can you touch on some of the technical aspects of speech and speech delivery that you'd want to share with us?
Okay, so here's a fun one, and I'll give you an example. So it was Super Bowl weekend. I'm driving down to LA. This is when the Super Bowl was in LA. And my president of the foundation, Marlon, says, "Hey, can you go and speak to this group that, because I can't make it, I'm not going to make it to LA." And that was pretty much what I had to go on, so I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So get to LA, I go to this facility, and the whole time, right as I arrive, I'm trying to understand who my audience is, what I'm speaking on, what their objectives are. And so while networking and meeting everybody, right? So that was an example of where I had to pull together these tools real time to get prepared on a speaking engagement where I knew nothing about anything. And so that's what I did. I went there and I'm assessing, I'm meeting everybody, who's the host, what's the topic about, what's my audience like, what's the audience, dynamic, are they entrepreneurs, are they business owners, are they, so I'm doing all that assessment live while meeting everybody. And then in my head, I'm pulling together. So here's a huge hint for the audience, or a tip is, I call them story chunks, right? So in my mind, I might have 20 or 30 stories of my past that are about 7-minute stories that you can wrap a purpose around, have these cool stories sort of stuck in your head. So if I pull out 1, 2, 3 of these things, I have a 21-minute talk, right?
Wow.
And now I just I sort of curb it to this audience in terms of what I'm trying to get from that story. So that's what I did. So I'm just going, okay, here's this, and I'll pull this story, and then here's my points to the story to inspire the audience, and And my call to action is, if you want to get in touch with the NFL alumni to work with us, here's how you do that, right?
Yeah.
After sort of bringing in these stories. So that's a live example of the power of story chunks. What it allows you to do is, if you have a 7-minute spot, you can just pull a story.
Yeah.
You have, you're running long, you can pull more stories to fill in an hour, right? To 2 hours. And you just sort of have these things structured in your head, and you just sort of roll through these stories and put them together in terms of fitting what you're talking to about with your audience. And so, yeah, that's, and then you can adjust those stories. So a lot of my a lot of stories are around sports, challenges with businesses and startups and systems and process when things don't go right, how to, I have all these stories. And then you relate it to your audience.
Right.
So if I'm talking to an audience that's not sports people, everyone understands aspects of these intense things that happen. So I just relate it back to a business owner or a CEO, or these challenges that they have in terms of a story that I might be talking about with football or something like that.
That's amazing. I think I'm going to be stealing, borrowing, and leveraging the story chunks idea. And I think, another thing I was thinking that also helps with nerves for folks, maybe because there are a lot of folks who are, they will not step out on the adventure of speaking in public, or they'll just make an excuse. I can't speak in public. But your idea or your strategy of using story chunks is perfect for that. Don't you think?
That's absolutely the purpose, because the more you do these things, the more you can embellish, right? So you'll start learning these stories, and you can twist them and grab different parts of them as you get more comfortable with them.
Yeah.
It just makes you more confident, because you always know you have this bag.
Yeah.
Right. And so you win a surprise, because something will happen when you're speaking. That's another rule. What, how, and when. So far, this is going good, right? If it's technical, you just don't running long. Something's going to happen. And when you have this bag that you've been crafting and honing in on and getting better with, it's just when it happens, you can quickly adjust, like that drive down, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, I didn't freak out about who is, I was just like, because this bag was there. So it just sort of makes you confident. Get there, assess, learn your audience, and then pull these things out of your bag and roll with it. And so, yeah.
Do you have advice? And so part of speaking is also watching the time. So I'm watching it. We have about 6 minutes, and I've got 30 questions.
Okay, that's okay.
I'm just kidding. So do you have advice? So again, the one of the best things, if there's a good thing that came out of the last few years, is that we've all gotten used to being on Zoom or StreamYard or being visual and interviewing in this particular way. Do you have advice? When folks are doing it in this format, where you're speaking on video versus when you're in person? Is there any tips that you could share?
Yeah, I actually like live audiences a lot better.
Yeah.
But I also like this format where it's an interview, because I need stimulus, right?
Yes.
There's some people that can, and one of the big secrets is, because right now I'm trying to talk to my audience here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you on my screen here, right? So you want to bring in your audience as well as talk to the interviewer. But then when there's a point where you're talking to the audience, and something that helps with the camera things, I still get used to this, is smile.
Yes.
The camera, right? Yeah. Let your personality be portrayed through it. And then also think of the camera as an audience. Like it actually helps visualize an audience sitting out there, and you're looking at the different people in the audience of who you're sort of speaking to. Yeah. And it takes the camera away in terms of being an isolated deal, and sort of turns it into a in your mind, right? Because most of it's visualization, like in sports or anything. And now you relax. And in my case, I'm talking to the audience, right? And so that's a big, not trick your mind, but get your mind to work for you. Right. And that's when you turn that camera into that audience of 1 or 1 million, right? That'll help you speak to the camera, and then and stay conscious of the audience.
So now I'm like, wait, make sure I'm looking. Am I looking up? Am I looking down? But that's a great, and then because you kind of fall into a natural, even when you're on stage. Do you find this when you're in person and you're on stage? Are you that person you kind of go straight up to the top? Like, what is your thing for getting ready when you're speaking in person?
When you say go right up to the top in terms of
into the physicality of the room, are you at a podium, or do you work better from the back? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of technical stuff, and when you're talking from one perspective, you're on this side of the stage, or you're talking from the person, the hero's or someone else's perspective, you're on the other side of the stage, and eye contact, watching your ums, and then the other thing is also realizing that the audience doesn't know if you forgot something or made a mistake. So a lot of beginning speakers will forget something or make a mistake, and then they'll say it out loud. They'll speak their mistake out loud, right? And we've all done that. But just remember that they don't know what was next, right? So just take a pause, take a deep breath, get your spot back, right? And then just talk, because sometimes those pauses are very impactful in a speech, right? So they don't know if you're pausing
or being thoughtful
or being right. And then have your go-tos to sort of give you time to get back on when you do forget something or something slips. Have a statement or something you say that you can say to the audience, like, yes, yes. Right. And you're looking around, and then you're giving yourself time to get back on track in your head if you forget something. So, yeah.
Is there a way that folks can connect with you, or how, if they wanted to, improve their skills, how do people connect with you?
So right now I'm starting to take on more speaking gigs for events and corporations and events, corporations, and kids, like for schools and stuff like that. And they can reach me at jackson.coach. So it's www.jackson.coach is where anyone can reach me. And there you can exchange contact information with me. You can look at I'm getting ready to start a mastermind. And like I said, I'm starting to do more speaking engagements. Right now I'm doing a startup, as I've talked about on this station before, that has a lot of my time, but I still always make time for these personal development and speaking types of engagements. So,
wow, that is so amazing. I wish I had more of your time, because again, selfishly, as someone who speaks a lot, I would definitely love to hear more. I love your perspective. I am gonna be using some. I think a lot of us, again, are gonna be using the tips that you share. I never thought about, again, the stories chunks, right? Story chunks, 7 minutes. So if y'all don't take anything out of it, I want you to get two things: story chunks and his email address, his website. Go to www.jackson.coach. We're so thankful for your time, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you again in the future. I'll be stalking you online to see how you're doing in business as well.
Well, it was very fun. It was a very fun interview. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very good meeting you.
Awesome. You too. Thank you. Thank you, Black Business Network. Please don't forget, everybody who's watching, to support, support kids, right? We're trying to raise money for scholarship for kids. And so, please make sure you go to the website and support our kids.
Very much. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely.
All right.
You are in the right place at the right time. The Black Business Network opens again for its Black Business Olympics, a 24/7 broadcast on business, strategies, global branding, social media marketing, finance, advertisement, and much, much more. Featuring featuring the top, most powerful entrepreneurs and speakers and thought leaders from all around the world as they gather together for this phenomenal event. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the metaverse, STEM City, USA, Black Multiverse, Pod TV, Roku, Hulu, iHeartRadio, Apple TV, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Google Podcasts, Facebook, LinkedIn, IBM TV, Spotify, and Twitch. Tune in today and be a part of this amazing movement. The Black Business Olympics welcomes you.
I am Black Business.
Hi, everyone. So I'm back. I just wanted to leave you with a few things. Genius is coming, and I'll see you on the other side. We don't want to forget why we're here. I want to promote the scholarship. Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K through 12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. So please go to blackbusinessexpousa.com and donate to the scholarship fund, or you can use the Cash App that's on the screen below, and it is Cash App BBXUSA. Listen, our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. And students, you can register online at blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts. So we want to remind you to donate to the scholarship fund. And I also want to take this time to make sure that we thank our Black Business Expo USA sponsors. We have 12 sponsors. And so I just want to make sure that we thank all of our sponsors for this month, for this year. And don't forget, Genius is coming, and I'll see you on the other side.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.